This show is brought to you by JList.com. Well, guys, JList and JBox.com are both great places for you to find all sorts of anime and Japanese merchandise, but they are especially good at their huge selection of Nendoroids. They have some of their best sellers, which are Tanjiro and Nezuko from Demon Slayer, Eijiro Kirishima from My Hero, Kratos from God of War, Saitama, Hestia from Danmachi, Shizue from Animal Crossing, Aoi Miyamori from Shirobako. JList and JBox, they have over 300 Nendoroids on sale right now. You're practically guaranteed to find one that's just perfect for you. So head over to JList or JBox.com right now. Find something perfect for your home or office. You'll have a lot of fun, and you'll be supporting the podcast as well. And now, let's start the show.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Welcome to episode 518 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. I am your host, Mitsugi, and I'm joined by the very vivacious Mandi. Mandi, how are you today?
I was going to say, I love that intro. Like, I want a shirt that says, welcome all you cool cats and kittens. I love it. Hi, guys. I'm happy to be here.
And we also have the very lovely but especially bunkered down Enzo. He hasn't been outside in at least 30 days. We don't know if the sky's still there. What's up, my brother?
I'm doing okay. I'm grateful to be healthy still and everything. New York is not looking too hot, but we're being safe out here with the social distancing and everything, working from home and all that stuff. So I'm here, still here for you guys. So let's do this thing.
We also have Mason, who is just outside of social distancing range of New York City, up there in Connecticut. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing as good as I can, despite not knowing any of this tiger talk that's happening.
Tiger talk.
Tiger talk.
Tiger talk.
Well, guys, if you want to support the podcast and make your anime addiction worse, you can do it over at aapodcast.com/join. We do our hentai episodes. We have over 150 hentai episodes now. We're doing another one today. And we have over 200 Hobby Addicts episodes, and we just recorded one of those. We talked a lot of Tiger King, again, which was just a wild time. It's always crazy. If you haven't seen that yet, it's nuts. And we have probably going on 400 after parties. So if you sign up over at aapodcast.com/join, you'll be helping out the podcast. You'll be extra entertained during this your indoor period. And I want to say that we talked about it, and during the month of April, I'm going to be giving away a free episode of one of these varieties every week, just to kind of help you guys weather your madness. So it'll definitely be more content for the people. You know, gonna help. It's not April Fool's joke. We're in a little hookup action. Next week, we're definitely going to be talking about the Final Fantasy VII remake on Hobby Addicts. So that one will probably be what you'll get next week, and just to help you guys out during the month of April while we're all kind of cooped up indoors and trying to find extra entertainment. If you want to find us on social media, we're on Twitch. That's where we're broadcasting right now. Thanks to everybody watching live. We're on twitch.tv/AAA podcast every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're also on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. Pretty much all the places that you would normally go to, to find people online. And, of course, the Discord channel is where most of the hot action's going on. If you go to our website yet again, you can, along the top, there's a Discord button to take you straight to the Discord page. You can just sign up. It takes like 3 clicks. So we'll see you on there. We'll be talking with you before you know it. Speaking of the Discord, what do you guys have going on right now on the Discord?
Well, the new season of anime just started, so the seasonal watch party has begun again. Saturday nights at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. A bunch of us get in a call, and we just stream the new season of shows, and we watched a whole bunch of stuff last night. The Way of Listen to Me, Kaku Shigoto, My Next Time is a Villainous. Listeners, so much good stuff. We have a great time in there. We meme on shows. We make a whole bunch of jokes, and we'd like to invite you to come out and hang out. We also have an anime club every other week, including this Wednesday, April the 8th. We're watching Sora no Oto, or Sound of the Sky. You can watch it on Crunchyroll, Funimation, and YouTube. And we will be giving our thoughts and opinions on it. So if you've seen it, come check it out. We are also have our voting up for the next show we're going to watch, which is Deadman Wonderland, White Album 2, or the Tatami Galaxy Boys. Whoa. So if you are interested in any of those, come vote for them, and we'll see if we end up watching them.
We know what Enzo's voting for.
Actually, I don't know. I love the sappy shit in White Album 2. I love that anime.
I know, you gasped. I heard you. You went,
I've never seen that. Should I watch it?
I think it's cute, dude. It was one of my throwback romances that I like.
Alrighty.
Such a cute little
boy. We also have my manga club, which will come back on April 15th at 10 p.m. EST in the Discord. We'll be reading volumes 1 and 2 of The House of Five Leaves. So you can go there, you can check the pin notes, find out what chapters we're reading, and just show up at 10 p.m. EST on April 15th. Hop into the voice chat, and we'll have a very laid-back discussion. Free to everybody. You're not required to talk, so come hang out.
All right. Busy as always, and I saw you had quite a crowd for that Berserk conversation last week.
We had a lot of people for Berserk. It was fun.
Yeah, it was big. I was like, wow, a lot of people.
Mason has some very hot, weird takes, but very questionable takes.
Is our boy.
He insists that Griffith did nothing wrong, and it was a great ending to the anime. I was like,
Whoa.
Yeah, you know it.
No way!
Wow. Okay. Well, guys, today on the podcast is one of my favorite episodes. We do these 4 times a year. We're going to be selecting our anime from the spring 2020 season. So that's always a lot of fun. Definitely. And we're also going to be doing a review of Cautious Hero, which in Japanese, Shinchou Yusha. So definitely a lot. This episode is friggin' jammed. We got to get rolling here.
It's time for big news of the week.
So for this big news of the week, new streaming service offers hundreds of retro anime series streaming for free.
Yay!
And I know this because I downloaded it and I've been using it.
Yeah, I downloaded it too on Roku.
Oh, I just downloaded it on my phone, but I'll talk a bit more about that with my own experience with it. But it is called Retro Crush. You can download it on your app store, and it is free. And they are a digital streaming service, and it's devoted to streaming classic anime TV and movies. I say that because there are things on there that are definitely not retro.
Yep, I noticed.
Which is fine. But they do have a lot of really good shows on there, so you should definitely check it out. It says that they had a curated approach to anime from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. There's some stuff in there that is way past 90, so questionable. But and it's available for free with ads from March 30th, and it's available on iOS, Android, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and smart TVs as well. You can also go to the website www.retrocrush.tv. But what were some of your favorite bits that you found on there?
Yeah, well, to your point, I was flipping through it today for the first time, and I was like, I saw Mononoke on there. It was like the latest. It was like, this came out in like 2008. Yeah, it's not even close to retro.
Kaiba, which was like 2008, 6, somewhere around there. It had Pop Team Epic, like just recently came out, like last year. So I was like,
wow.
They tried to do this a while ago with the retro thing. I can't remember what that service was called. We promoted it back in the day, but it didn't do that well. But I just hope they stick to like the retro thing. Like if they just start putting stuff from like the 2000s on there too, then they're just another Crunchyroll or whatever. So I kind of hope that they stick to the red, because it'd be nice to have a service to watch stuff that's not available anywhere else. So anyway, I
was wondering how much stuff on here is just on the streaming platform, because a lot of things I'm looking at, I'm like, you can find these on other platforms. So I was curious about that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. I mean, I did, because I'm just not that aware of what's located elsewhere. Like I saw things like Wicked City. I doubt Wicked City is just chilling on Crunchyroll. Like it's way too Angel Cop was on there. I mean, there's some stuff from the 80s that I don't think would really fly on other services, somewhat, because it's just like there's some crazy sexual weird content in Wicked City. Like I can't see that really being okay generally, but there's some stuff on there I wanted to watch. Like I saw Area 88, and that's an interesting show, and I wanted to check that out. I started watching Flame of Recca a few weeks ago and put it down, but it's on there, so maybe I could watch it off there. But Flame of Recca I think is also like on Hulu or one of those other services. They have Blue Seed. I saw Blue Seed, which was like such a throwback to be watching anime like on the Action Channel when that, I don't even know if that still exists, but on cable or satellite or whatever, and you'd be like midnight and you'd be Action Channel would have like Bubblegum Crisis on or Blue Seed or something, and you'd be like, oh shit, Blue Seed. And that show has a flaming hot opening song. I love it. So there's a lot of cool stuff on there. Yeah, I flipped through it and it's friggin' free.
Yeah, I was flipping through it right now. They have Urusei Yatsura on there. They have like all of Fushigi. They have all of Card Captors. They have a bunch of really old stuff on here. But I want to say that we are not sponsored by them. So
No.
none of this is sponsored, so we're just letting you know.
It's just a service, because it's like a lot of people would love to watch older anime and see what it's all about, but it's just a lot of it's just not out there. Like where do you watch Creamy Mommy? No, I mean probably nowhere until now, but boom, there it is.
Cobra's on there. They have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, Cobra. You cannot find a picture of Space Pirate Cobra without a cigar in his mouth. That's impossible. Try to find one. So, did any of you other guys flip through and see anything that looked enticing to you?
No, I just downloaded it last night, but I haven't flipped through it yet, so I can't say I looked at it.
I didn't, but if it has Kaiba, it's got my support.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
It's just neat. All right. So that's, again, what was that called again, Mandy?
Retro Crush.
Retro Crush. I love the name. Boom. Retro Crush. GTO is on there, although GTO is like...
it's like the poster child for it. Like when you pull it up, it's the first thing that came up.
Yeah. I guess it's 1999, I guess. So.
Yeah, they had like 12 Kingdoms on there. There's a lot of stuff I was like, this isn't from the 90s, 70s, or 80s, but it's good.
Yeah, I might fuck around and watch 12 Kingdoms again. Fuck it.
Yeah. All right, well, you know what else you're going to be fucking around with?
Let me know. Let the people know.
皆さんおめでとうございます Join us in Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner.
Make me feel good.
Yo, I will make you feel so good, my friend, because this is Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner, where you guys can write in to me and to the rest of my co-hosts as well to let us know about something you've been working on, something you've achieved, something you're completed and that you're proud of, so that we can shout you out and shower you with our never-ending love, my friend.
Shower you.
This one comes in from Soki Soy, and they say, today has been an awesome week. So, yeah. This has been an awesome week, Soki Soy. Come on. I just heard Enzo read my Notice Me letter last Thursday about my war at my job and taking my kids to Costco for the first time. And then Monday I come into work and I got the job transfer I applied for. Ooh. It's a step back in terms of pay, but not by much, and it gives me weekends off. For nearly 13 years now, I've had to work weekends. And also this position will give me greater growth potential. I predict this will be read probably sometime around in February 2020. LOL. Thanks for allowing all of us addicted to share our positive news. Love you guys. Well, Soki Soy, thank you so much for sharing. We love you too. Congratulations on getting that job you applied for. It's always a really good feeling in life because it means you've taken some control on your career path and it worked for you. You know what I'm saying? Good luck on the growth potential in this new position. For the rest of you guys, if you guys want to share what you're working on or something you're proud of, make sure you go to aapodcast.com. There's a link at the top that says mailbags and more. That will direct you to this drop down with the text box. Make sure that in the drop down you pick this Notice Me Corner segment and you write to your heart's content, and we will read it at some point in the future.
Yeah, good luck on your new position. The money is nice, but quality of life is also very important. And getting weekends is, oh God, it's worth so much money.
Big time for mental state, baby.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can't put a price tag on that. So congratulations.
And props to Sokasoy because he's one of the health club lads in the Discord. So
hell yeah.
Oh, nice.
Biggie.
Nice.
Yeah. Little love from the children. They think so too. They're like, "Oh, I love my weekends." Mm-hmm. All right. All right, guys. And now there are a couple hot new anime to talk about, so let's get through that.
It's time for hot new anime releases.
Koenma just falls through the ceiling.
Every time.
Every time.
Single time.
Every episode.
We got 2 little releases to talk about, and they're actually not that little. First up, My Hero Academia gets a 5th anime season. This was announced at the end of a pretty glorious-looking episode 25 that recently came out. It'll be done by Studio Bones again. There's no date announced, but based on how far the manga is, it probably is not even going to be the last season, but I'm excited all the same. I've personally really been enjoying this like long-term shonen series where they do like 25 episodes every year instead of like long drawn out 50 200 episode spurts. You guys have any opinions on that format as opposed to like what the classic shonen used to do?
I need to catch up on My Hero. I'm really far behind. I think the last one I watched was season 3. But no, I do love that though, because it makes it so much easier and less daunting to get into, because you're like, oh, I can easily binge 24 or 25 episodes over like a week or something. But when it's like just keeps going, and the episodes keep accumulating,
you're falling behind.
Maybe I'll just stop forever.
I have a goal to catch up on My Hero. I'm on season 2, and I've been just putting everything I have into Yu Yu Hakusho because I have to get through that. It's just like my life's mission right now. But I kind of want to be on track when season 5 comes out, and I think I have maybe just enough time to do that.
It probably won't be till late 2021. So.
Oh well, I have a lot of time then.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. I definitely think that
late 2021.
I would think so. Yeah.
That's 2 years from now. Wow. Okay.
Wow. Well, I think it's led to allowing Studio Bones to have a little bit more of a rest and have a better quality product in the end. So
okay.
I like these little breaks. And also we have Tiger and Bunny. The second season is getting put out in 2022, which is kind of far away for a announcement to come, but nonetheless, I know a lot of people really like the show.
Yeah.
This came from the official website, and it's actually a sequel to the 2014 movie Tiger and Bunny the Movie 2, The Rising. So if you want to catch up, you have to watch the original 2011 series, then the movie, then you'll be all set for this. So yeah, very interesting, like very proto-realistic hero show that was very visually wild.
Yeah, another show I haven't seen. So, again, I have apparently all the time in the world to watch it because 2022 is like an eternity from now, But missed out on Tiger and Bunny the first time, and I guess I wouldn't be too much of a stretch to watch that first season and watch a movie or two. So, but before then, so maybe I'll be on track for that.
Is it kind of weird that they announced it so soon, 2 years ahead?
Yes.
That's so weird.
That is pretty long, pretty far ahead. They're just really excited, Mandy.
Very excited. Very excited.
They saw the Tiger King and said, now's our chance.
Oh, now's our chance.
Oh, okay. Ooh, Mason. Nice. I like it.
Well, what I like even more than that is our comeback of the most glorious segment of all time.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we're going to try to do Does Mitsugi's Mom Know here for the first time in a while. We have to juggle some logistics here, so we actually have to go off camera to do Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? So I'm gonna put up an image. We're gonna bring back the glory that was Mitsugi's mom from a while back. So we haven't done this. This is the first time we've ever tried it on Twitch. So I'm gonna put up the overlay right now, and let's do what we have to do logistically here to make this happen real quick. It's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? The game show that pits Mitsugi's unassuming mother against anime's most basic questions. Now here are your hosts, the Anime Addicts. Whoa, it's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? Back from the abyss of forgetfulness. I am your host, Mitsugi, and I am joined by the lovely Caroline. Caroline, how are you on the phone?
Hello, I'm very good. This is very exciting.
And where are you calling from,
I'm
Caroline? Oh, good.
Oh, I'm calling from a little town in New York, a little bit north from Enzo.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Fellow New Yorker up in here. Let's go.
All right.
Well, I'm not a big city guy. I'm just
I still accept
dinky
you.
town girl.
I still accept you, Caroline. It's okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is you're playing today, so that's fantastic.
What?
The bad news is I think we're like on an 8-game losing streak or something ridiculous here. So
Jesus.
we have to break
Make it 9.
We're still trying to break the curse here of does Mitsugi's mom know. She's been studying very hard, I'll have you know. And I know you may know the rules, but for those at home, my mom knows some things about anime, but she knows just enough to be dangerous. And so in this game, I ask her questions, and you must decide whether or not she knows the answers to the questions. And if you can get 3 out of 5 right, you will win a brand new Hummer, courtesy of GMC.
Whoa,
Wow.
that's wild.
Yeah, just kidding. It won't be that glamorous, but there will be a prize. There will be a prize. I'm sorry.
A raise?
Oh no, nothing like that. Let's not get carried away now. Let's not get carried away.
I'm just joking.
So I'm gonna play a sample question for you, just so people understand what's up, and I think it'll be pretty self-explanatory. So are you ready?
I am ready.
What occupation is prominently featured in the anime Death Parade? If you've seen it, you probably know that it's a bartender.
But would she have seen Death Parade? I don't think she would know this.
All
I
right.
think she'll probably say mortician or something.
All right. For the sake of quickness, I'll lock you in on that. What occupation is prominently featured in the anime Death Parade?
Well, an executioner, of course.
Is that an occupation?
Back in medieval days, it was.
It's a bartender.
Oh.
She's not wrong.
All right. So that will be a correct answer, but unfortunately that does not count. So
Right.
Hey,
Gotta keep the ball rolling.
don't get overconfident now. It's time for the real thing. Wipe the sweat off your brow, wring your hands out. Are you ready? Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Good luck to you. In Inuyasha, how does Kagome end up in feudal Japan?
Oh, even I don't know this. I've never even seen Inuyasha. So I feel like she probably has seen it, because I think we've had similar questions from Inuyasha before. I would say she knows it.
Okay, so she knows that Kagome falls into a well and ends up in feudal Japan. Am I locking you in?
Yeah. Go with the heart.
All right. Let's find out. In Inuyasha, how does Kagome end up in feudal Japan?
Well, they had a big
She said it.
typhoon, and it blew him completely over to Japan.
Kagome is a girl,
so close.
and she fell into a well. But I thought you were gonna get it there for a second.
Yeah, she did it well. I was like, oh,
Because of
she
the
got it.
typhoon.
You said the word well.
Oh,
Yeah, she said the word well, and I thought she was gonna get it, but unfortunately, Caroline, that one was not quite right. But maybe that was just some tough luck at the beginning. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get this.
Okay, so time for question 2. What sport has not recently been featured in anime? Basketball, volleyball, baseball, hockey, or badminton?
Wait, sorry, the question was, what has not been recently...
Would you like me to play it again for you?
Yes, please.
Okay, I can definitely do that for you. What sport has not recently been featured in anime? Basketball, volleyball, baseball, hockey, or badminton?
It's a very generalized question. I would say... I think she can take a pretty good guess. So, I am going to say she knows.
Am I locking you in? She knows it.
Yeah.
Mitsugi's mom, she knows her sports. Let's find out. What sport has not recently been featured in anime? Basketball, volleyball, baseball, hockey, or badminton?
I don't think hockey has been.
That's right.
Yeah. I was gonna say she definitely watches all of our shows, and we've talked about that before. So I figured, yeah, she probably does.
That's
know
right.
it.
Yeah. Good job. Well, you are now to truncate the game, you now need to get 2 of 3. So
Okay.
you're not doing bad. And we'll
We're
simplify it for
sending
you.
good mojo your way.
So much good mojo. Are you ready for the third question?
I am.
All right, good luck. Who is Truck Coon? Who is Truck Coon? We all know who he is.
That's a
He's-
hard question.
He's
for her,
always
though.
there to run you over with his truck.
It's very pop culture-ish. So, if she has listened to the show, I feel like you guys have talked about Truck Coon once or twice.
Oh yeah, we for sure have.
So, based on the fact that she listens to all your shows, as you said, I'm gonna say she knows.
I like this overwhelming optimism that she knows all.
Well, she's a very strange person. I said it once, I said it again. She's an enigma. I have no idea what's up with your mom.
She definitely subscribes to r/anime
This-
memes.
Our still image for Twitch should have a picture of my mother looking really confused.
We should get an anime picture of her. We
That would
should.
be pretty funny. All right, you're saying she knows who Truck Coon is.
Yes.
All right, let's find out. Who is Truck Coon?
Well, Coon means sweetheart. I think he's somebody in Dragon Ball Z, or is that Trunk? Truck Coon is
Trunk Coon.
somebody's sweetheart, but I can't think who.
Oh no,
Hard, but no!
somebody's sweetheart. Oh, she did know that Trunk is from Dragon Ball Z apparently.
Smart.
I'm going Trunk Coon.
All right. Okay, well, you're on the ropes, Caroline. This is not good. But we still have faith. Are you ready for question 4?
Wait, there's still hope?
Oh, there's still hope. You now
Yeah,
need to
gotta
get.
go 2 for 2.
You got to go 2 for 2 here. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right, here we go. In Japanese, what does the term ecchi mean?
Oh, I feel like I should not say that she knows, because I said that she knows every single time, but I feel like she might know this.
So my mother is just perverted enough to know that ecchi means perverted.
I mean, it's certainly something that she would avoid. I mean, I don't know your mom, but I would think. So she might know what it is based on that. Okay. It's yes, okay, yeah, she knows. She knows.
All right, I'm going to lock you in on she knows. Is that your final answer?
Yes. Go with heart.
In Japanese, what does the term ecchi mean?
Oh, ecchi? It means echo.
No!
What? What?
Echo.
How? There was one thing in my life that I was sure on was that she absolutely knew what ecchi was.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Well, I was going to say, Caroline, that you could phone a friend and ask one of the co-hosts, but they apparently would have told you she knew it. So
Yeah.
would not have helped
absolutely.
you.
Would've let you
Why
down.
didn't you tell me that before?
Man,
Oh, we wouldn't have been any
she's
help
wild.
because I was thinking she would probably say, probably pervy stuff or something. But
I would have
If there
accepted.
was an anime illustration of your mom for the show, it would be like the people holding a mask of a confused face, but behind it, her real face is just a devious smile, knowing that she's playing us all.
can we get an anime picture of your mom, but in the Akinator pose?
Oh, looking like.
That would be amazing.
And we can flip through them on the screen, and she'll be
Yes.
with her arms folded or thinking really hard.
Oh my goodness.
All right, well, Caroline, thanks for trying to break the curse. We're now at 9. I'm just going to call it 9 straight losses, but I have a whole bunch of questions recorded from my mother, so this segment will be coming back now that we know that it works pretty regularly. So we'll break the curse eventually. Thanks for playing.
Thanks for having me,
Yeah,
guys.
thanks so much.
Caroline.
You,
You did
dude.
great.
Bye.
Peace
Bye.
out. Stay safe, okay?
Oh, I will. You too.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Mason, do what must be done for us to get back on camera here.
Do the thing.
Oh, we're doing it?
Do the thing.
Oh, okay. Here
Yep,
we
do
go.
the thing.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
Guys, we have one more question from does Mitsugi's mom know that we didn't get to? Would you like to play it?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do
Yes,
it.
absolutely.
All right, one bonus question for you. In Hunter x Hunter, for most of the anime, Gon fights with what kind of hunting tool?
No.
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 She
No.
doesn't know.
Absolutely not.
You know what? She knows this shit.
If your mom has seen Hunter x Hunter, we need to become best friends right now.
She knows this shit.
All right, let's find out.
Listen, I just listened to Caroline fail after saying she knows. I'm
gonna say no. There's no way.
She knows, guys.
In Hunter x Hunter, for most of the anime, Gon fights with what kind of hunting tool?
A bow and arrow.
A logical guess, but it's actually a
surprised by
fishing
that.
pole.
I guess that could be a weapon.
She goes, I guess that could be a weapon.
Now, you did say most of the anime. To be fair, it's only the first arc. And then it goes away.
Oh, really?
And then it's
But
rock,
he
paper,
doesn't.
scissors.
He doesn't fight with anything.
He fights with Nen, damn it.
I guess he fights with the cards.
Oh,
yeah, I guess,
the
yeah, Greed Island.
For a while.
Although he didn't really fight anyone with cards.
All right, guys.
It was mostly rock,
Incredible.
paper, scissors, and
Well, that was fun.
dodgeballs.
Excellent. Thanks you so much, Mitz, for bringing that back. And
Yeah,
thank you, Mitz,
I
for
love that segment so much.
It's nice that we know that we can
Deceiving
logistically navigate it now without much difficulty. So it's I have a lot less anxiety about doing it. So
So if you want to do it, listener, let us know either on Twitter or Discord or wherever, and we will add you to the list of future sacrifices if you can overcome it.
yeah, there is a prize if you win. It's just I've almost forgotten what it is because it's been so long since we've given it away. But please come win.
Can someone please win? We want you guys to win, man.
Yeah,
Come
win
on.
the damn game. Win the thing.
We're starting a waiting list, aren't we? Did we mention that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got a whole
Okay.
list of people that I'll ping and let them know when it's time to do it, and it's pretty darn easy. So, if you have any
All
questions,
right.
just let me know. And with that, we've got trivia.
We have trivia. That's right. That's
Is it my
Mandy.
turn?
Mandy's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's me.
So sorry. Alrighty, so we have a trivia question which we will answer after the break. The question is in cautious. Oh no, website trivia. I'm so sorry. I got so mixed up in that. Website
good,
trivia. I'm all mixed up now. We changed our things around. Anyways, a trivia question. If you go to our website at aapodcast.com, you scroll down. There is a picture there from an anime in some sort of theme. Our theme right now is anime flowers, and if you can send in your guess what anime you think that little tiny snapshot is from, and you can win prizes. So our answer from last week was Spirited Away, and the winner was Mochi Mochi.
Sounds so yummy.
And we also have, for no prize at all, our In-Show Weekly trivia question, which we will answer after the first news break. And that is, in Cautious Hero, the goddess Restarte is assigned to save a world. What is the difficulty class and the name of this world? We'll let you know in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
See you soon.
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi is here, and I'm bringing you your first anime news break, starting off with a new anime adaptation announcement. Strike Witches Road to Berlin is going to be coming in the fall of 2020. Of course, this was actually sort of previously announced back in 2018 during the World Witches 10th anniversary event, which they announced this and a couple other projects as well. If you're a fan of Strike Witches, there were seasons previously, so if you're a fan of that, you'll probably like this as well. Series director is Hideya Takahashi of Fukumenkei Noise, and there are going to be lots of other talented people involved in the process, including editing by Akinori Mishima of Black Bullet. If you're a fan of Strike Witches, look out for more of this coming out in the fall of 2020. And now another anime adaptation coming out, a new one, a little more surprising. Tokyo Mew Mew, the manga, is going to be getting another anime season as part of the 65th anniversary of the Nakayoshi magazine. So this is pretty interesting news because Tokyo Mew Mew's been gone for a while. The synopsis is that 13-year-old Ichigo Momomiya is at an endangered animal exhibit with her crush Masaya Aoyama when she is hit by a beam of light and sees a cat entering her body. She begins to demonstrate cat-like behavior. The following day, a giant monster attacks Masaya and forces Ichigo to transform into a pink magical girl with cat ears and a tail. So, cute magical girl anime, Tokyo Mew Mew coming back. There's a website launched by Pony Canyon that ended its countdown recently, and that's how they announced the project of Miya Ikumi's Tokyo Mew Mew manga. Next up, Aniplex has established a new 3D CG animation studio. I'm not really sure why they've done this, but as of April 1st, they have pumped almost $1 million into a new property called Boundary Inc., which is going to serve as a 3D CG animation studio under Aniplex. Aniplex, of course, founded in September of 1995 under the Sony Music Entertainment Japan label and oversees planning and production of lots of anime, including Angel Beats, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Gintama, and other things. So if you're a big fan of Aniplex, I'm sure they have some plans in store for this new CG animation studio. We'll have to see what kinds of things they come up with anime that they're involved with in the future. Next up, Konosubarashi Sekai ni Shukufuku wo is going to have its manga end, so God's blessing on this wonderful world, very popular anime and manga series. After dying a laughable and pathetic death on his way back from buying a game, high school student and recluse Kazuma finds himself sitting before the beautiful but obnoxious goddess named Aqua. She meets the NEET with two options: continue on to heaven or reincarnate in every gamer's dream, a fantasy world. So we all know this property for the most part. It looks like this project was made into 2 anime seasons in the winter of 2016 and 2017, which each ran for about 10 episodes, funny comedy property. But it looks like the manga will be ending with its 11th volume on April 9th. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break, and now, time to get back to the podcast. Hey, Anime Addicts, JList and JBox.com are both great places for you to find all sorts of Japanese and video game merchandise, including a huge selection of Nendoroids. They have some bestsellers like Tanjiro and Nezuko from Demon Slayer, Eijiro Kirishima from My Hero Academia, Kratos from God of War, Saitama from One Punch Man, Hestia from Danmachi, Shizue from Animal Crossing, Aoi Miyamori from Shirobako, and in truth, JList and JBox have over 300 Nendoroids on sale right now, so you're practically guaranteed to find one that's just for you. Tell all the moe to stop having fun. Tell them that a moe girl ain't deserve no love. Let them run the schoolyard, let them play in the band, then stand back and wonder, what the hell is that? 'Cause I saw a young girl, now I understand. That girl was Moe, and that just ain't that grand. And you just heard, I Saw a Moe Girl, the new hit single by Pope Exotic. And if you come down to Pope Exotic's Wild Animal Park, you can see and take your picture with a wide variety of wild moe girls, and we also do moe petting.
I'm stunned. I'm speechless.
It's something. In before Netflix sues us.
That song actually not copyrighted. So believe it or not, in the anime Cautious Hero, the goddess Ristarte is assigned to save a world. What is the difficulty class and name of the world in its Gaia brand and its world class S class, of course, because it wouldn't be sexy enough if it was just like A class or B class. It has to be S class. All right. Now that we've been through that shenanigans, are we ready for Mandy's Manga Minute?
Yep.
I am.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandi.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and help you find something new to read. And this one is called Chainsaw Man. I guess Devil Hunters, the best for making money, proclaims chronically broke Denji, a devil hunter for hire. With his trusty chainsaw and chainsaw dog, Denji vies to make it to his next meal. However, nothing is ever as it seems, and things never go as planned. Madness begins with the story of a dark hero who will rock the world. A new era of devils, hunters, and chainsaws begin. So Chainsaw Man is an action-adventure manga written and illustrated by Tatsuki Fujimoto. It is still currently publishing with 65 chapters currently available on the Shonen Jump app. The physical volumes are currently up for pre-order, but they're not out yet. So Chainsaw Man is a violent story about a boy named Denji who finds a dog that has like a chainsaw sticking out of his forehead. It's real weird.
That's strange.
But he is stuck doing jobs for the Yakuza after his father committed suicide, and he's in debt for a very large sum of money. And after the Yakuza attempt to kill Denji, events lead him up to him being able to turn into Chainsaw Man, which is like a half demon with chainsaws for arms, and he has a big chainsaw head. And he has now found himself in an experimental division 4, or a public safety devil hunting team. And the action, now like he's like a half demon with, I think I already mentioned that he has like chainsaw arms. Anyways, the action in the series is like way over the top. From the demons and the protagonists to the action scenes, everything is taken to the extreme. And there's definitely a lot of crude humor and absurd humor as well, which may not be for everybody. But the art is very grim and dark. A lot of the shading is done with very like just scribbles. And I would recommend it to people who were intrigued by the idea of Doro Heidoro, but like the types of characters and action that shows up in shonen manga. I got lost in my place while reading that. I apologize. I'm all over this doc today.
Yeah, that was the #1 most desired adaptation, I believe, or close to it.
I think it was in the top 3. I think #1 was Komi Can't Communicate.
Yes, Komi Can't Communicate.
Chainsaw Man was up there. And I like the name of our shows. Like, we're reviewing Cautious Hero. The guy is a cautious hero. Chainsaw Man. What's that about? Say no more.
A man with chainsaws on everything.
More. Say less. Say less,
actually.
This picture that I put in our doc for Chainsaw Man is so ridiculous. It's him with his chainsaw arms and a chainsaw head riding a shark.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
That gives you the image of everything.
Calling this a shark.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, Mason. Go off.
Six-eyed, like tarantula-legged shark.
True, he does have legs.
Using like the barbed portion of his chainsaws as like the whatever the horse
the
like
reins?
girder is. Yeah, the reins is made up of the chains. Oh my goodness, it's amazing.
This is Mason for sure. Mason manga here, right here.
Oh boy, I'm in.
It's wild. It's weird.
All right. Well, Mason, are you ready for your new segment?
I am.
We also have a new drop for you for your new segment. So we're going in with style.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
That's right. We have the new segment called Anime Arguments, where you guys can go to the mailbag section of our website and submit hot takes or
Bye-bye, Mason.
Oh,
right,
no, of course.
Right in the middle
on
of the
day
segment.
with the new drop.
Hey,
no.
we're here, baby. I thought we'd fix it. We're not. It's okay. So our first argument comes to us from Domino2OG. And they write, I believe that Naruto is extremely overrated. It is almost all filler, has a lack of story, and every villain is either overly dramatic or weak or just plain unbelievable. Well, Domino, I think that Naruto is pretty appropriately rated overall. It's over 700 episodes long.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the most immediately compelling. It's got like a super easy premise. The visuals really pop. It's got like a cast of really wide, memorable characters. And Naruto is like a lot of people's earliest anime experience, especially if they started in the 2000s. Like Dragon Ball in the 90s, or SAO or My Hero Academia in like the 2010s, like there's a certain like nostalgic fondness that people have for this. So it's understandable that it gets a lot of love. But like, despite a lot of its like phenomenal moments, which it does have and is hype inducing,
Rock Lee fight.
I think even a lot of the fans of the series are like very aware of its flaws. Like, I think very few people are like, oh yeah, it's one of the like cornerstones of like the pinnacle of what anime can be. So I think like, people are like, yeah, it's a little bit bloated and it has a lot of the flaws that you mentioned. But I don't know. I think its popularity gives it the illusion of being overrated. But despite its shortcomings, like it's still worthy of all the success it's gotten. And I think if you spoke to people who've watched more than 100 shows, like a lot of first-time anime people have, Naruto would very rarely rank among like their highest regarded. So I don't think it's too overrated. What do you guys think?
I'm with you, or I'm actually a huge Naruto fan. Obviously sans the fillers because the fillers serve no purpose. So pointing to the fillers as a a place to take points away from the show, unfortunately, is a valid argument because it is part of the product that was put out. However, it is also a necessary evil in the industry that we're in, right? Because most anime catch up to the manga, and if there is no manga, you have two choices: either you filler to then be faithful later on, or you make shit up as you go, and you end up with a Game of Thrones scenario, right?
Oh,
yeah. So like, I personally think if I feel a filler is coming, and like I'm like 5 episodes into this filler arc, I'm like, this has nothing to do with the fuck with what the story is doing. I'm okay with taking a seat back and letting the internet tell me when the filler is over and we get back to the main story, and I hop back in, say la vie, whatever. I don't know if that's the proper way to use say la vie. I think it is. But
C'est la vie.
I think
Kind of.
It sounded fancy. Good enough.
It sounded right.
I'll allow it.
I think anyway. But yeah. So I think Naruto, like Mason said, is appropriately rated. We have huge Naruto heads, we have anti-Naruto heads, and we have a very large portion of the anime fan in agreement that Naruto is essential and is a good watch. That's what I think. So I think a take that saying Naruto is trash is a little bit too much of a blanket statement. There's not too much evidence of that. It does a lot of things really well, and it's a cookie cutter standard. Like, it's set a standard for shonen. So
yeah. I feel like that's the same case for a lot of shonen. A lot of people who have seen a ton of anime will most of them will agree that shonen isn't like flawless. It rarely ever is flawless. Any anime is rarely flawless, but I mean, it's still fun. A lot of people get really into shonen series, even the long running ones, because they're just fun to watch. Yeah. And they just have this formula where like, it's just, there's a lot of just fun action, fun characters that you can grow attached to, very unique characters, unique art styles. And a lot of people just get really attached to Shonen Jump series. And I don't think anyone will say that it's like a 5 out of 5. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people turn to this overrated argument as a way just to kind of shut down people who are fans of shows. And I hate that. I hate that. If you really love a show, and if you do give Naruto a 5 out of 5, you're not wrong for your opinions. I don't know. I hate it when people do that kind of shit.
That's very correct, Mandy. That's good. That's a good perspective to have.
Our second argument comes from Dino Squad, which I believe is the first of a series.
Get ready for Mitz to be triggered here.
Oh boy.
And they say, if anime was actually good in the 80s, it would have been mainstream in the West.
Oh, God.
So, Mitz, do you want to take this one, or do you want me to?
I mean, it's an incredibly stupid comment.
It's so dumb.
Dino Squad, we love you. We love you, Dino. We love you.
I mean,
that's a wild comment.
I mean, if you're going to submit your statements to the anime argument segment, prepare to be burned a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I would just say, first of all, it's like most things in the world, the world was not such a connected place in the 80s technologically. So now where it's like, oh, you can just like click a button and stream everything to every country. Like, that didn't exist in the 80s. Like, it was in the 80s, for those of us that are old enough to remember the 80s, like, you would go to like Sam Goody and buy a VHS tape of Akira. Like that was the way you would do it. And now it's like, and now people today don't even know what a VHS tape is. So it's like, yeah.
I was gonna say it sounds like a baby wrote this.
And
a very young person.
Troll question or not, we have to take all things seriously. So all questions in the future given their due roast.
I'm taking him seriously. I mean, it's like there's anime from every decade that is great, and there are anime from every decade that just aren't. That just for the lack of a better word, they just suck. So, So I don't know if I can really speak to that all that adequately necessarily, because it's your opinion versus the opinion of other people. But the connected thing, I mean, that argument doesn't hold any water.
I'm with you, man. I think the answer to this argument is that in the 80s we did not have the type of connection we had now. I mean, testament to the power of our connectivity now is that for now that we guarantee get pretty much every single good show, but you know what we also get because we fucking can? All the shit ones.
Oh yeah.
So like we have that kind of broadband now. In the 80s, like you can't expect companies in Japan to take a wager like, okay, should we have all these VHSs and stuff made and physically and then print them and then put them all the way out to the West because maybe that'll sell? No, only like a show like DBZ would guarantee you that.
Back then we had illegal VHSs that we had to pass around to people.
Right, exactly. One VHS served like 20 people in the community, bro. Like that's how we did it. Like there was no internet for.
I was gonna say it's because anime was so good in the 80s that we even are mainstream now. Like it was so good that it inspired people to do all the fan subbing and distribution out of passion, and like through all of that eventually led to the founding of Streamline Pictures, which was like the first distribution company, which was like in 1988. And they started off with a little thing called Akira. So, like, if it wasn't for how good those shows are, like Space Adventure Cobra that we mentioned earlier, the first Ghibli and Nausicaa films, you had the first OVA with, like, Dallos. You had the best-looking movie of all time, the Royal Space Force. Like, Pat Labor, the beginning of Galactic Heroes, like, so much good stuff that...
The 80s kicked ass.
Got us here. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Definitely some gems in the 80s, bro. It was just a matter of technology, kind of.
Yeah. And now we have so many shows where, like streaming, we can just stream anything. We can just turn on anything and watch something. But like, look how many shows are coming out now. Now there's something for everybody. Like, they're like, it makes sense that when we're able to just grab stuff off of streaming platforms, that anime is becoming more mainstream today. But in the 80s, those shows still existed. We just couldn't get them. Like it was so much harder to obtain those rare shows that US companies are like, we don't want to take a risk translating this, printing them, shipping them overseas, dealing with licensing fees. So yeah,
way too risky.
It only wasn't mainstream because the AAA podcast wasn't around in the 80s. That's why.
Was it though?
Let these people know.
We are
sure?
the harbingers of,
I feel like it was.
It's pretty damn old now. Back in my day, where my
in the words of Naruto, "C'est la vive it."
Believe it.
Oh
Mason,
shit!
No. Oh my god.
All right.
Shit.
I think that's all we had for this week. If you have arguments, please submit them. We would love to tackle them and or roast them and or agree with them. So find that on our website. And with that.
Yeah. Love you, Dino Squad. Love you, Dino Squad. Spring 2020 anime selections. We have arrived. Every season, we each put 15 shows down on a list, and we we basically just draft them, more or less, like I pick this one, pick this one. So we each have 5 shows here to go through for a total of 20 shows, trying to stick to a 2 to 3 minute limit if possible on these shows. So we're going to go fast, but hopefully we can get through all these with enough time to still talk about Cautious Hero. For my first pick here, I've got a Shironeko Project Zero Chronicle. So this is a Project Number 9 studio, and for those of you that don't know what they've done, and you thought there was never a girl online, there's a lot of my recently My Sister is Unusual all over this, including the director Hatahito Yuki worked on that, and the original creator Madi Matsuzawa also created recently My Little Sister As Unusual, which if you don't remember is the one where the girl like pees. They spent half the anime on the toilet with the girl.
Oh my god!
But I watched the PV, and this doesn't seem like that kind of a show. It seems like a fantasy action anime. Clearly, the trailer is just chock full of fighting, swords, magic, tons of action. So there's no hint of any of that in the trailer, at least. The synopsis is: in a world consisting of numerous islands, a young hero from the Astora Island encounters an adventurer, Kyle, and follows him on an expedition on this island. They meet a mysterious girl named Iris and a talking white cat, and together they make their way to the island's ruins, where they find a flying island. Kyle becomes consumed by darkness there, and the party resolves to travel to the ends of the world on the flying island in order to find the 7 great runes, following Kyle's words before he disappeared. So it sounds like a fantasy adventure show, streaming on Funimation. So that's the first one I'm going to be covering for the spring 2020. Again, it's called Shido Neko Project Zero Chronicle.
My first show really doesn't need much of an introduction. It's Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2.
Yay!
Season 1 back on episode 479, done by A1 Pictures, who is kind of all over the place, done by same director who did Rakugo Shinju, Grand Crest, and he worked on Arakawa Under the Bridge. So I really like his stuff. It's very Shaft inspired, and that's kind of where a lot of Season 1 got its flair from. It's based on the currently running manga by Aka Akasaka, which is a great name. The PV looks more of the same. Looks like there's more of something pushing their relationship forward. It's more of the same, honestly. If you haven't seen Season 1, check it out. It's a ton of fun. They have the same guy doing the opening. If we get an opening as good as Love Dramatic from Season 1, the show will instantly be a success. I think I'm predicting the rise of Ishigami. He's our boy. He's going to be MVP this season, and you can find this over on Funimation. So hyped to check out Season 2.
Yeah, I think that OP was one of my favorites from last year.
It was just so stylish. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
So good.
Should I go next? Yeah. So my first pick is so as always, you guys know that we don't usually pick sequel seasons, but sometimes in a season when it gets thinned out near the end of our pick amounts, we do, because sometimes it's just better than the other things available. So an example of that is a show I have loved. I loved Season 1 and Season 2 of the show. It is Season 3 of Yahari Ore no Seishun Love Comedy wa Machigeteru Kan. Snafu, yeah, love comedy snafu, I think is like the English translation or whatever. I forgot, but it is, from what I recall, the first 2 seasons, which I'm gonna have to definitely refresh myself on because it was a couple years ago, more than a couple years ago. It revolves around one guy, Hikigaya, and 2 girls in the service club. The 2 girls are Yui and Yukino, I believe, and they're in the service club. They do favors for people, and it starts to transform into a pretty interesting love triangle. And love triangles to me are pretty hard to execute, but I recall finding this one to be kind of endearing. So given that the rest of my co-hosts and I have picked, I think, the rest of the shows I would have watched, I think this one comes in right in handy to cap off my list, to start my list off for this season. So it's Season 3 of Comedy Snafu, of Oregairu for short. So I'm looking forward to it. Some slice of life comedy for me. Good.
Awesome. I never saw Season 2, but I saw Season 1. I need to watch Season 2.
Season 2 is a solid, like, if you like Season 1, you'll like Season 2, like, for sure. Yeah.
Alrighty, cool. Well, my first one is my number 5 pick, because this has never happened to me before, but somehow I got my top 5. It was crazy.
So
I was blown away.
Mandy's so ecstatic right now.
But yeah, my first one as number 5 on my list is My Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. And it is available on Crunchyroll. The studio is Silverlink. The director is Keisuke Inoue, who also directed Ao-chan Can't Study. I didn't watch that one. That one just came out like a few seasons ago. And it is based on a light novel series and a manga series. And I did the manga for Manga Minute a while ago. I was really excited about this one because this is one of the manga that my little Otome club have discussed together. And it was really funny because we ended up picking 2 manga that were very similar and up being completely different. And it was really funny. But yeah, like I really like that we're finally getting some isekai series that are aimed more at the female audience. Like isekai started out that way with female or with women going into fantasy worlds as a way to empower themselves. Then it transformed into video game kind of related shows with male leads going in and being super overpowered. Now we're getting back to it, and now this one is based on a woman who loves otome games, which people don't know what an otome game is. It's like a visual dating sim where that are aimed at the female audience. And she goes into it. She's reborn as the villainess, though. And this villainess, all of her roots are either lead to death or exile. And now she's trying to avoid them. So I don't know. I love the manga. I'm loving it so far. It's really funny. So I'm excited about this one.
All right, I'm back around again with another pick here from me, Gleipnir, which is...
Gleipnir? Such a weird name.
Yeah, I agree. Done by Studio Pine Jam, who worked on Gamers and Just Because. Director Yoneda Kazuhiro, who has directed Hozuki no Deitetsu Season 2, Akatsuki no Yona, and some other stuff. I watched the PV, and the character designs I thought were pretty appealing. Like, I kind of like how they're drawn. You know, that's going to be your personal taste for sure. So I think they look nice. Trailer doesn't really tell you a whole lot. There's a monster at the end of the trailer, which you'll hear in the synopsis here in a second, that I think really looks dumb. Like, I'm not really the guy who digs the those, like, there was that show with the magical girls where they were like getting attacked by giant teddy bears, and then there's like,
oh yeah, I remember that.
There's like Assassination Classroom where there's all these like, or there's like all these different shows where there's like a goofy teddy bear or like a monster guy. Like, I'm not really into it. I don't really think he looks very good.
Monokuma.
Yeah, I don't really think he looks good. If you watch the trailer, you'll see he looks really weird. The synopsis from Mal: what does one consider to be a monster? A horrible, blood-sucking vampire, Frankenstein's creation. Shuichi Kaguya has a secret. Other than having great grades and being skilled at sports, he isn't what one would call normal. Shuichi cannot even be considered human. One fateful morning, he awoke as a monster with brute strength and abnormally strong sense of smell, big puffy paws, to my point, and the depression and self-hate that comes along after losing one's humanity. His life was suddenly flipped upside down. Trailer has a lot of like school kids kind of attacking each other angrily and like arguing, and there's like a burning building with a weird looking like teddy bear thing standing in it. I don't know. It looks kind of weird. We'll see what's up. I don't have much more to say about it. It's on Funimation. So that's the Gleipnir, my second pick.
Gleipnir.
I was bracing for Mandy's Monokuma laugh.
No, I'm good.
Speaking of strange shows with strange creatures, we're doing it.
Uh-oh.
We have number 8 on my list.
No, you're doing it.
I'm doing
We're
it.
not doing it.
We will
You're
see
doing
what comes of it. We have Gal and Dinosaur, as heavily requested by the Dino Squad.
Dino Squad
Tells the story of Kaide, a gyru who picks up a dinosaur and begins living with it. It's a short comedy that depicts a dinosaur that doesn't talk, who just consumes human food, watches TV, and enjoys fashionable things. And this is going to be a quirky, dumb, what the heck, random, stupid show that will be worth watching if it succeeds in like pushing the envelope and creating great memes. Like, if it can do that well, it might succeed. So this is actually a 2-part show. The first half is going to be animated, and the second half is going to be like a live action version. So if you're thinking that sounds very strange, this is directed by Jun Aoki, who did Pop Team Epic. So expect very similar oddball things. The animated half is done by Kamikaze Doga, who has not done much. They've done the Ninja Batman, like the 1.5 hour movie, which looked all right, and they also did the Future Photon Harima Sakura SACLA, which is like 3 minutes about a like futuristic high-powered X-ray cannon that a Japanese company asked them to do. It's based on a currently running manga, and like I said, it's just going to be stupid goofy. It will be immediately apparent if it is your kind of thing or not. It's streaming on Funimation, and we will see if the memes can deliver.
The memes.
the memes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So I love that Mason got that one personally. I'm with the chat. The chat is excited that Mason of all people has that show, which is dope.
I'm ready. My body is ready.
My next pick is a very interesting one. I had it listed not too high on my list, but listed nonetheless. And it is Olympia Kyklos, Olympia Kyklos, whatever. But it is so I did watch the trailer. The trailer is very, very, very interesting. It is not it's not really animated. It's not anime style animated. It is very like pictures cut on top of each other and with a narrator telling you things about Tokyo and Greece and about a young vase painter named Demetrios who is tasked with there's a neighboring town and they want him to make a game for them to compete with them, and then during this game he's hiding inside a large vase, or I don't know if it's during the game or not, but he gets hit with thunder and then he gets transferred to fucking Tokyo, Japan during 1964, the Summer Olympics. So we got a Greek guy from the past getting zapped into Tokyo for the Summer Olympics of 64. And like we'll see how it goes. We'll see how this one goes for me. It's apparently slated for 24 episodes. And I believe they're shorts. So
God, I hope so.
Yeah, I believe they're shorts. But you know what? Listen, I've had to pick weirder shit in the past that have sometimes come to be like, you know what, this shit's good. Yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Actually, in any list here it says episode duration is 5 minutes each, so it would be 24 5-minute episodes. The director is Ryo Fuji, and he has nothing else under his belt. Yeah, he has nothing else under his belt. So we will see how this goes. But the key visual looks cool, and I'm down for a trailer that's not very traditional. And hey, I love the Olympics too. Fuck it, why not, baby? Let's get it.
I had it on my list too because it gave me a strong Secco Boys vibe. I was this is gonna be great.
It's half Secco Boys and it's half that show that I reviewed.
The hot spring guy.
Yeah, where the Athens guy gets like transported to Japan to learn about the hot springs culture.
Yeah.
Yep, that's we'll see how this one goes. This is
it's definitely going to be a train wreck, but it might be a beautiful train wreck.
It might be a pretty train wreck. It might be. Let's see. We got a whole season to go,
Alrighty, so my number 4 pick is Ghost in the Shell 2045. And same team that always does Ghost in the Shell, Production IG, Kenji Kamiyama, who worked on all of the standalone complex. And this one is going to be on Netflix. It's all 3D CG. And it's just no addition to the Ghost in the Shell franchise, which is, I think it's very interesting that it's all 3D CG. The trailer has me a little bit skeptical, but I have read, seen, and owned pretty much everything Ghost in the Shell, so it's no surprise that it's on my list.
Yeah, no part of me was surprised that you picked this at all. Like, Mandy's doing this one.
Yeah, like I even own the movie that was for 3D TVs, so I have like everything Ghost in the Shell you could think of. Nice. So, what I think is interesting that this is post Section 9, and so now they are in America. And throughout the Ghost in the Shell franchise, we hear a little bit of like the American Empire that exists in the series. And so, but we have never gone there. We only seen it through flashbacks with like Batso. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm just curious to see what happens. The thing that scares me the most about it, though, is that in the synopsis, it mentions that things get complicated when the emergence of post-humans who have extreme intelligence and psychic powers. That worries me because Ghost in the Shell has always been like this set in the future, and you're like, I could actually see like it's like everyone is has these cybernetic implants and stuff, but I could see this possibly happening. There are things in there that I'm like, oh yeah, that's maybe so far down the future. I could see this happening, but psychic powers, I don't know. I'm kind of scared we're gonna get into more of a really weird fantasy series. So we'll see. I'm intrigued though.
All right. So my next pick is a show that intrigued me back when I talked about it on a news break a while ago. It's Shacho Battle no Jikan Desu, which is like, President, it's time for battle. So it's battle time. So it's done by Studio C2C, who has worked on World End, What Do You Do at the End of the World, and Hitori Bochi. The PV. I watched the trailer, and it pretty much it's an isekai show, I believe, that it feels very much like this season's sort of let's make a party full of different like mages, warriors, etc., and go like raid dungeons and stuff like that. So the synopsis is pretty simple. It's based on a strategy smartphone game. The isekai strategy role-playing game is set in a world where dimensional gates suddenly appear in the sky, opening portals to lots of dungeons, and the story imagines if the player is a company president who employs adventurers to take on dungeons filled with monsters to collect the treasures that are in the dungeon. So you'll recruit, at least in the game, you'll recruit like fighters, mages, knights, hunters, rogues, etc. And the PV pretty much depicts that. It's a lot of very, very cute-looking art-styled characters that are partying up and going down into dungeons and collecting the loot, and then it looks like you'll see like scenes where they're back at their company, like itemizing a receipt for the person that may have hired them to go get the stuff from the dungeon, and then it's like, oh, you owe 8,000 whatever, and it just looks fun and cute. It could be a sleeper hit for this season. It's going to be on Crunchyroll. So that's Shacho Battle no Jikandes, or President Battle Time. So I'm looking forward to it. Looks cute and fun.
Very nice.
Yeah.
My next one is one I probably would have thought like Talon and Claw for. We have BNA, or Brand New Animal, which is the first full series by Studio Trigger since 2018's SSSS Gridman. And I'm a big Trigger fanboy, and I'm excited to finally get into another original one of their works. The OP is an absolute bop. It's inspired very much like by Promare's like color palette. Yes. And it's directed by Yoshinari, who is involved in a lot of their works, but has only directed the Little Witch Academia series. Essentially, this is, it's about animals, but it's way different than Beastars. It's in this world, there's humans and humanoid-esque animals that coexist, but there's definitely a lot of tension between the two groups. And our main character is a Tanuki-esque character named Michiru, who has kind of been not bullied, but just clearly is not in a good spot. So she kind of flees the human world for the animal-safe Anima City and gets mixed up in all sorts of events and warring factions and investigations. And I watched episode 1. The first 6 are actually out on like Japanese Netflix, and you'll find this on Western Netflix at a later date. But no, it's Trigger. I will always show up to the table to see what they have. It's usually something weird and kooky and wild, but it is usually a fun time that I'm usually on board for. So, Brand New Animal, hyped to talk about it.
Hell yeah, dude. When I saw that trailer, I debated challenging you on that slot for the show. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm not the biggest Trigger fanboy, so I'm a concede.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, man. Dude.
Yeah, no, I know who the fuck I was gonna fight against if I picked this. But but I'm kind of excited for my next pick. My next pick is Fugo Keiji Balance Unlimited. The translation has become the Millionaire Detective Balance. It is. I hit play on this trailer, and I got hit with like Bebop aesthetic without the space. I got hit with Banana Fish feels. I got bit with Michiko Tohachin vibes, because you got this like funky jazz on top of very text layered aesthetic on the screen, which is a big aesthetic that I really like. If you guys think of Banana Fish as a key visual, you have a big text with bright colors and their music. And this is also about street crime. If you think Bebop, that's also big text with jazz behind them. And so it gave me that vibe. So that immediately caught my attention. And then reading into the synopsis, it centers around this millionaire gets appointed. He's the heir to a rich family. He gets appointed to be the head detective of a police force in the city. And under him is his like assistant detective who does his job out of passion and out of heart, while the millionaire does his job assigning a lot of things monetary value. So to me, that's going to be two leading characters that have a conflict in beliefs, which is something that I really, really enjoy. And to further hype it a little bit, this director is Tomohiko Ito, and he's touched he's touched blah, 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 blah. He's directed episodes of Minjiko to Hachin, and I think it's cool because I think he's gonna handle characters well because he also directed some Silver Spoon, which I know Mandy likes a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he can. I think he can. He's also helped on like Summer Wars and like The Girl Up Through Time. So I think this guy has a good grasp of story and character. So hopefully he worked with the writers on this shit to get this looking cool. It looks really cool. The trailer definitely has my attention. Let's see how they can keep up stakes in this show and have that conflict between the two characters throughout. The studio behind this is Cloverworks. It's Aniplex also, whatever. So they're in good hands. So let's see they execute.
Alrighty. So yeah, that one looked really good. I was wanting to check that one out. But my next one is Woodpecker Detective's Office, and this is the only one on my list that I don't know the original source material behind. But Linden Films is adapting this one. The director is Shinpei Ezaki, who was the director of Hanebado, and he directed some episodes of a few other well-known series. But Hanebado is the only one that he was like the director on, and it's based on a novel, not a light novel. It's based on a novel series, and the synopsis says like a ghost was seen on the 12th floor of the Asakusa Junikai building. And a newspaper article featuring the sighting brought together Takuboku Ishikawa, who runs a private detective agency, to support his family, and his assistant Kyosuke Kindaichi to solve the case. Yeah, I don't really know anything about it, but I think by the PV, it looks like it could be very promising. The art looks nice. I think it has a really nice color palette. It's utilizing a lot of like bright colors, and there's some really dark blues in there as well. Like it has a really nice, like I really like the lighting in it, and it looks like it's going to be a murder mystery. And you know how much I love my murder mysteries.
You do, girl. You do.
But the original novel came out in 1999 by Kay Lee. And I'm not positive, but I think Crunchyroll is picking this one up. It's not on there now, but I think I saw somewhere that it's a Crunchyroll show. So don't quote me on that. But I think it's Crunchyroll. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know. I have no idea whether or not it's good, but we'll see.
Getting down to the nitty gritty here with our top twos.
Top twos, baby.
All right,
we all got our top twos, by the way, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have a show here called Tower of God, which is probably pretty well known. I think we've talked about it before on the show. Also, I believe Studio Telecom animation film. I've worked on a lot of stuff. Orange, Chain Chronicle, Moyashimon. They've been around for quite a while. So the synopsis is that the Tower of God centers around a boy called 25th Bam, a snazzy name, who has spent most of his life trapped beneath a vast and mysterious tower with only his close friend, Rachel, to keep him company. When Rachel enters the tower, Bam manages to open the door into it as well and faces challenges at each floor of the tower as he tries to find his closest companion. So, watch the trailer. The concept, I think, is really good behind this, and it's one of the more interesting shows I have, for sure. Trailer is wild. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense if you don't have the source material like me, but he spends one whole trailer battling like a giant Leviathan looking water beast, which I guess is probably one of the levels in the tower. And you know, I think it's supposed to be pretty good. It's really, the source material is super popular, so it definitely has a huge audience behind it. The character art looks a little odd. Like, I guess Mandy, you said it looks like the source material. I think
the manhwa.
Yeah, I think it looks a little unfinished, but you know, I can't, the trailer doesn't really. I'm not really willing to judge the animation based off the trailer, but the art looks a little unfinished, but it may be intentionally that way. So, Tower of God, most of you have probably heard about it already. So, it's going to be on Crunchyroll for those of you that want to watch it. And from what I can tell, it looks like a fantasy adventure. So, Tower of God.
Yeah, I think they're trying to mimic the manhwa's art style in that, but yeah, it's like one of the most popular Korean mangas or manhwas out there, so I'm very interested in it. A lot of my manga podcasts I listen to love that series, so I don't know, I'm gonna try it out.
All right, next.
My number 2 pick is Appare Ranman. Unfortunately, it's not Appare Ramen. Then it'd be my number 1 pick.
That'd be delicious.
Appare Ranman comes to us from Studio PA Works, who recently did Fairy Gone, but over the past 5 years, all their best stuff comes out in April. So I'm hoping that this continues the trend. It's directed by Masakazu Hashimoto, who did Haruchika and Tari Tari, which I've started up and have been really enjoying. This PV sold me right off the bat. It's like bursting with life and colors. It's like JoJo Part 7 with wacky races, with a little bit of Dr. Stone. It's this like transcontinental cannonball run race from LA to New York. It's just this massive thing with looks like tons of goofy characters and all sorts of vehicles, and essentially it stars like a inventor and samurai from Japan who kind of gets like stuck over on America and needs to win this race to make their way back. I'm usually not one to get like super into like voice actors and stuff, but the cast on this thing is absolutely stacked. It's airing over on Funimation, and it looks like it will be an absolute just banana ride and will be a fun like summer spring show.
What is a banana ride? Could you elaborate?
It's just, it's going to come off. People are going to be slipping on like banana peels. Like it's going to be, I think, a little cartoony in that respect, but just it's going to be filled with so much heart. And I think if they can nail some of the crazy animation, if they have a big bombastic like soundtrack with it, it'll be a ton of fun to watch.
Is it Wacky Races in the same way that Redline was Wacky Races?
Yes, sort of. I think it'll be a little more like steampunk inspired. I think it's in like the 19th century, like the late 1800s maybe, but I think it's going to be something.
Rock on.
Yeah, man. So in the vein of hitting a PV and hitting play, having a lot of shit thrown at you that you like, my next pick is Listeners by Studio Mappa. And whenever I hit play on a trailer and the first thing you hear is a guitar being played, I'm like, all right, you got my full attention. And not only does this have a guitar being played, but I never thought this would be the next music anime I was watching. Listener, it takes place in a world, it's a post-apocalyptic world where guitar amps, when plugged into people called players, and players are people or I don't even know, man. Players are people that have like headphone jacks in them. So if you plug them,
what?
Not headphones, like amp jacks. I forgot. I should know.
Yeah, the full size ones.
Like the girl on My Hero, right?
Yes. Pretty much. But you plug that in from a player into an amp, and then the fucking guitar amps turn into fucking mechs. Whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna say that one more time. You plug that shit into yourself if you're a player, and you plug that into a guitar amp, or maybe other stereotypes too. But at the moment, the trailer just very much shows guitar amps. But it's like guitar amps turn into mechs, and this world has a group of people, a group of shadowy creatures called the Earless. So these mechs, along with the players, are trying to defeat the Earless to take the world back. The trailer shows a really cool character aesthetic, a really cool world aesthetic for post-apocalyptic. The music is alternative, it's rock, it's heavy guitar. I'm looking forward to the battle themes. I'm hoping that we stick to like heavy punk for battle themes. And the cast of characters so far on the character listings on Mal or like AniList or whatever, all look really cool, and you get snippets of them in the trailer. So my hopes for this one are me being a music nerd. Like, I'm here for the music. I'm here for the music themed show. I'm here to follow the characters Echo and Moo through their adventure in this shit. And also shouts out that the main character has a Vox amp. I also had a Vox amp for my first guitar amp, so let's fucking go, baby. This is me.
Enzo, we watched episode 1 in the seasonal watch party on Discord last night. I'm not gonna spoil nothing, but I think you might have picked a winner.
Let's fucking go, baby. All right, I'm stoked. But yeah, this is Listeners. I'm not sure where it's streaming. Actually, do you know where was the streaming, Mason?
Funimation. I think a lot of things are like out on Funimation now, but I think it's because some other sites like Crunchy just haven't announced the full lineup yet.
Okay, word. But yeah, guys, I think if you guys are music people or mech people or whatever, or just want a quick set, check this out. Listeners is really cool looking so far.
Yeah, so my number 2 pick was Wave Listen to Me, and it is being adapted by Sunrise. The director is Tatsuma Minamikawa. Minamikawa, and I don't think they have done anything. I didn't see anything on their list that I recognized. And this is based on a manga, which I've done for Manga Minute before. And I'm really excited for this one. I know it's out now. It's currently out on Funimation. I have not seen episode 1 yet. But yeah, the manga is really fun. It is about a 26-year-old woman named, I think her name is Minari, or Minare, something like that. And she is a waitress. And one day she gets really drunk and ends up accidentally going on a rant about one of her exes in a radio station. She did not know that she was being put on the air. But after that, she enters into the world of radio and has her own radio station. And the PV looks so much fun and crazy. I remember I just loved her as a character because it's very rare that we get shows with the protagonists as older women. So I was very excited about that, and just listening to her rant and rave about all the kind of crazy shit going on in her life and just being pissed off, and I loved it, and I can't wait for the anime. So I'm probably gonna watch that tonight. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm so jealous you got this one, Mandy. But you had talked about it in the past, so I'm not surprised you went for this. But I used to do college radio, and I'm so in to watch this show. Let's go.
All right. So my last pick, I don't really watch the PVs before I pick my shows. Full disclosure, kind of go very freewheeling when I'm picking my picks. I do it very quickly.
At least you're honest.
Listen, this is a baseball show that's directed by the guy who did Major. And I said to myself,
that's big for you.
I said to myself, oh, Major, one of the best sports anime of all time, one of the best selling sports manga of all time. Probably a good indication. Maybe this guy knows what he's doing with some baseball, since this guy's directed like 120 episodes of Major. Tamayomi jumped on it, sports anime, baseball show. Studio A Cat, who hasn't done a ton of stuff. Frame Arm Girls, Pastel Life, and again, Fukushima Toshinori, who directed, I think, seasons 2 through 6 of Major, or at least a lot of Major. It might not have been that many, but most of it. So, I had some hope here. But then I watched the PV and I realized it's probably not going to be what I wanted. For once, I just want to have a baseball show about girls where the girls don't spend so much of the show questioning whether or not they should be playing baseball or learning how to play baseball. And I just want to watch some girls fucking kick some ass playing baseball. I just want to watch a girl. I want to watch a girl throw a fastball and split the air and make it bleed, and then another girl hits the bat so hard that it rips the cover off the ball. That's what I wanted. But that's not what I'm going to get. In her junior high years, the pitcher, Yomi Takeda, was not able to get very far in a cross-school baseball tournament, and since then, the catcher on her team wasn't at all on her level, so she couldn't use her signature move, the magic throw, and eventually regretted not being able to use it. After junior high, she decided to stop playing baseball and went to Shin Koshigawa High School, a school without a baseball club. So they're doomed right there. There, she found her long-lost childhood friend, Tamaki Yamazaki, who used to play years as a catcher, who could even catch her magic throw. So now they're going to play baseball together, and they're going to whatever. So, streaming on Funimation, but again, it's not really what I was hoping for, I don't think, based on the trailer. The whole trailer is just people being cute, And so, again, I guess I'll just have to keep waiting for my baseball show with girls where they actually, where it's actually about baseball. So, but that's Tamayomi.
Sad.
And listen, and the Mal score is horrendous already. So I'm guessing episode 1 came out and it's getting destroyed. So it has
Chad said it's funny that Mitz got baited into a Moe show.
Yeah, well.
I mean, if there's any kind of way to bait him into a Moe show, is not only making it a sports one, but directed by the guy that did Major.
It's vicious. It's vicious.
Just to double down, baby.
Listen, I mean, one of these days I'll spend the hour and I'll watch every PV, but I figured between the 4 of us we're gonna blanket everything anyway for the most part.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
No. Whatevs.
I kind of like your stuff not watching the PV, but
true. But the number 1 pick squandered so easily.
Hey, I got Tower of God. I think the show about the going to the dungeons and collecting the loot is gonna be fun. So. That's Tamayomi.
Yeah, sounds fun.
A number 1 pick that is not wasted, and I think is going to be my favorite of the season. Kaku Shigoto.
Wow.
So hyped for this. So this is done by Studio Ajido, who's not known for much. They did like the Genshiken spin-off series, Kubajiki Unbalanced, Twilight Q, and they're going to do the future Kimono Jihen Monster Incident show that I talked about. It's done by a director who hasn't done much either, Yuta Murano. And it's like, well, why are you so excited for this show? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it is based on the source material from the god that is Koji Kumeta. This is a guy who did Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, Kate ni Kaizo, and he did character designs for the Eccentric Family. He even did a 23-volume ice hockey manga. Like, this dude is an absolute champ. I couldn't wait for the PV. I actually...
Bye, Mason.
Well, okay, he's back. Okay,
yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. Cause I was just gonna say, like, I am 0% surprised that Mason went for this one. TBH.
I'm so excited. So this is a story about Goto Kakushi, which is Kakushi Goto backwards, an artist who draws somewhat vulgar manga and tries to hide it for the sake of his daughter Hime. And if you know anything about Kumeta's works, it is filled with unbelievable amounts of like puns and ridiculous imagination, and it's going to be a comedy that is, I think, kind of hits on like an honest part of like the thoughts of creators. I'm thinking that it will be like a less depressing version of like Asano's downfall. It'll touch on that Eizouken, like
God,
what
I
does it
hope
mean
so.
to create stuff, but it'll be like these weird misunderstandings, but it'll be adorable as a backdrop because I think it's just gonna. His daughter is amazing. Her group of friends and their like imagination is amazing, and his like thoughts of like being a popular artist while being kind of ashamed at the same time of what he does is just so good. Everything this man touches, I'm a big fan of. So check it out, Kakushi Goto. I mean, even the name itself is like a triple entendre pun that is explained early on. So I am super hyped for it, and I think it will be an absolute winner.
Yeah, I think this one is huge. This one was in my original top 5 of being picked. But given how we do our picks, I was unlucky and just didn't get it. But I'm stoked that we're covering it. Period. Because I'm definitely gonna watch this one with you.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That looks really cute.
Yeah, my number one pick may not be most people's number one pick, but it is.
But it's yours, damn it.
But it's fucking mine. You know what I'm saying? Everything about this show so far that I've seen, there was a 9-minute PV, which I'm assuming is the first half of the first episode.
Damn.
I watched those 9 minutes and I was entirely captivated by the pacing, by the sound design, by the voices, by the already presented drama in the first 9 minutes. This anime is called Yesterday wo Utate, and it is I'm gonna literally read the synopsis so people will just know why the fuck I picked this. I am such a slice of life head. It's my favorite genre. This is a story of love and humanity, following 4 boys and girls trying to live their best lives through hardship and turmoil in a small town on a private rail line just outside of Shinjuku. Minor misunderstandings lead to big complications, and their various feelings become entangled. A story of daily life lived 49% looking back and 51% looking forward. Like, that is a fucking synopsis to get me to watch something, because this is telling me that it's blatantly telling me it's a character study. It is 12 episodes long. The animation is not extremely pristine, but it has a very good charm for the tone of the story they're trying to sell. And I'm not Mandy when it comes to Seiyu, but the voices sound super crisp in this show. They got Kana Hanazawa in this. I love hearing her voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they got her in this too. And yeah, it's just this show has the aesthetic that I struggle to put into words as to why I like slice of life, and that's my indication to pick something, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing what the studio is Doga Kobo. I'm looking forward to see what they are gonna where the story goes. I'm all here for a character study. I'm all here for the pacing of this show. Yeah, it got me, man. That 9-minute PV was pretty much everything I look for in episode 1 for a drama. So excited to watch this fucking anime. Like, so stoked.
Very nice, my dude.
Awesome. I lost my doc. Sorry, I hold for a second.
Stall for time.
I accidentally closed it out. I didn't mean to. I apologize. But my number one pick is ARTE, which I just talked about like maybe it was last week or maybe the week before. But I did a manga minute on that one just recently. And the studio that is adapting it is 7 Arcs, who I've never heard of. So I don't know if they're new or they just haven't done much, but I don't know who they are. And the director is Takayuki Hamana, who I also have never heard of. So scary, but is based on a manga, which I did on Manga Minute, about a woman in Renaissance Florence named Arte, and she is a woman who is a young woman who is part of a very rich family, and during this time you could not, if you were a woman, you could not be an artist, you could not be a painter. Your role was basically just to get married off for political reasons, or for prestige, and then to immediately start having kids. Like it was not, you were not encouraged as a woman to have jobs or to have hobbies or anything like that. So she really wants to become an artist. Art is her passion, and she loves painting, and her family, or specifically her mom, does not want her to do this. She just wants her to get married and continue on in a very wealthy lifestyle to carry on the family. And but her father is a little bit soft on her and wants her to be able to pick up her passion. So she eventually gets to a point where she's like, I refuse to get married off. I do not want to get married. So she cuts off her hair and leaves the family and is like, I'm going to find someone out there who is willing to train me and take me on as an apprentice. And it went very rough for her. She was not able to for a while, until she found one guy who was eventually was willing to take her in and works her really hard. And I love the manga. I have not watched the first episode yet. It's out now on, I believe, Funimation. And I'm really excited for it because I loved what I've read so far of the manga. I don't believe the series is very long. I don't know if it's still publishing. I needed to look that up. But I'm interested in it, and I love that 4 out of my 5 picks all feature very strong women as their main leads. I'm very excited. Dude.
It's a good season for that. There's a lot more.
There's a lot of them.
Just more mature shows this season, and I'm excited for it. Mm-hmm. So do we want to run through each of our 5 picks again?
Yeah, sure. Definitely. My 5 picks are Tamayomi, Tower of God, Shacho, Battle no Jikandes, Gleipnir, and Shironeko Project Zero Chronicle.
Very nice. I definitely had the best selection. My 5 were Kaguya-sama Season 2, Brand New Animal, Gallon Dinosaur, Apari Ranman, and Kakushigoto.
Yep. And my little list here, full of slice of life goodness, is, well, actually, not mostly, but I got some good slice of life in here, which is all I care about, is Yahari Ore no Seishun Love Comedy wa Machiketeiru, which is love comedy snafu. I got Olympia Kiklos, I got Fugo Keiji Balance Unlimited Listeners, and also Yesterday wa Utate. I'm so excited for spring 2020, honestly.
So mine running down is My Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, Ghost in the Shell 2045, Woodpecker Detective's Office, Wave, Listen to Me, and Art. I'm excited. There's also a lot of season 2s that are coming out this season that I'm also excited for, and we didn't pick because we wanted to give some other series a chance, like a newer ones. But Fruits Basket Season 2, Bookworm Season 2, I'm really excited for. There's a lot of really good stuff this season. I'm really happy.
Yeah, No Guns Life Season 2 as well, which was pretty solid. So I think there will be something for everyone.
Yeah, it's a big slice of life drama season too, which is pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
I think also Idolish 7 Season 2 is coming out.
Hell yeah, baby.
I'm excited.
Those 2 boys in here.
Very true. Idolish 7 second beat. But we have our second news break, and before we do that, we'll leave you with another trivia question, and that is, which god appears in Fate Grand Order also appears in Cautious Hero? Think about it. You'll find out soon enough.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, this is Mitsugi, and I'm bringing you your second anime news break. Starting off with a reminder that the Final Fantasy VII RPG is coming out next Friday after about 300 years of waiting for most fans. There is a final trailer that is online. You can find it and watch the final trailer for the Final Fantasy VII Remake game. Pretty cool stuff if you're a big fans of the series. Look out for this coming out on Friday. And next up, we couldn't get through both news breaks without a little bit of COVID-19 news, of course. Universal Studios Japan's theme park, of course, has been closed for I don't know how long. They say April 12th, but we'll see. And One Piece is planning on different events. They're going to be returning in the summer. They're going to be having their One Piece premiere show and the Sanji's Pirate Restaurant coming back to the lineup for the park in the summer. So this seasonal One Piece attractions are a yearly tradition for Universal Studios Japan, which I've never been to that theme park. Could be interesting to go. And Sanji's Pirate Restaurant is approaching its 10th anniversary. Next up, it looks like we have some very popular manga that have broken into the New York Times graphic books best-selling list for April. This includes the cream of the crop at the moment. One Punch Man is coming in at number 11 on the list, followed by Demon Slayer ranking number 12, My Hero Academia coming in at number 14, and Dragon Ball Super coming in at number 15. This being quite a divergence from prior weeks where Demon Slayer was pretty much number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. down the list. Looks like that has cooled off a little bit, but interesting to see different properties still being near the top of the graphic selling books list for the New York Times. And lastly, given the music anime that we recently reviewed on the podcast getting a stage play in August, it's going to run at the Theater 1010 in Tokyo from August 15th to the 18th. Also, Tokyo Gekijo in Kyoto is going to be getting the run from the 22nd to the 23rd of August. Cool Japan's Park Osaka from August 29th to the 30th, and finally at the Shinagawa Prince Hotel Stellar Ballroom in Tokyo from September 4th through the 6th. So if you're a big fan of Given, you will probably want to check out that stage play if you happen to have the opportunity to go to Japan. Of course, the manga also had an adaptation of its anime done on the Noi Tamina block last July. So if you're a fan of this property, check out either the anime, the manga, or this new stage play coming out in August. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, of course, it's time to get back to the podcast. Anime Addicts, the AAA podcast, is always trying to bring you new and exciting ways to enjoy our content, and now we have an exclusive member-only RSS feed on the site that is going to let you access our hentai episodes, our Hobby Addicts, and our After Parties episodes, all from your favorite mobile apps. That's an additional 8 episodes of content per month just for you, and you can listen to it through Apple Podcasts app, you can listen to it through Podcast Addicts, Pocket Cast, Overcast FM, Downcast FM, etc., onward and onward. So many mobile apps for you to choose from. If you were holding back on supporting the podcast because you didn't like listening to our extra content through our website, now you can get it and listen to it the same way you enjoy all your other podcasts. So pitch in, help out the podcast, do a good thing, and enjoy all the extra content we have for you. Just go to aaapodcast.com/join, support the podcast, Merry Christmas, and you will get all this extra content and an exclusive member RSS feed for you to enjoy. That again, that's aaapodcast.com/join and support the podcast.
Welcome back. So before we went on break, we had a question for you. The question was, which god appears in both Fate Grand Order and Cautious Hero? The answer is Ishtar.
Ishtar?
We're just rocking out.
Dude, this on the bop. I'm sorry. I can't hold the movement.
I get people emailing me all the time asking me for these audio clips.
do this.
I know. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I should just post them. All right. Now it's time for 5-star review.
Do it.
Well, I had to play the drop though.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe we'll do it.
It's time for iTunes review.
So if you would like to leave us an iTunes review, go to iTunes at AA Podcast. And yeah, just leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Also, please criticize so we know how to fix things. But if you leave us a 5-star, we'll read it on our show like we do for Dajon. And they said, thank you for all the entertainment when I'm grinding away at work. The hosts do an amazing job bringing the audience into the conversation. Strongest podcast community in the universe, in my opinion. Please never stop posting.
Boom.
P.S. Get Enzo back, at least for a cameo every once in a while. Look.
Well,
first, thank you to John. We really appreciate it. Also, Enzo was never gone. He just didn't show up. We didn't kick him off.
He was dormant.
I just had shit to do, man. I was never gone, and I was always. Whenever people, you guys can always message me, man. Okay, like I was always very responsive to the DMs I got and everything. So, but I appreciate it, John. I love you, friend.
He was training in the reverse hyperbolic time chamber. He only went in for 20 minutes, but it was 6 months. He was like, "Oh no!"
I fucked up the timer. It was only supposed to be like 5, dude.
It was supposed to go on backwards, not forwards.
It was crazy. But hey, I'm back now. So let's get to the things we do best, friends.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, which I feel like we've had like 4 of those moments this episode.
It's a good episode. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep. All right, so Cautious Hero Shincho Yusha, which I narrowly failed back like around episode 495 or so, but the listeners brought it back from the listener choice pick from episode 497. So that you can watch this one on Hulu, and it's a fall 2019 joint. So go check it out. Synopsis. I wrote this myself. So proud. After being summoned by the goddess Restarte to save the world of Geobrande from destruction, Seiya Ryugyuin prepares himself for a hero's journey. The thing is that he is excessively cautious, endlessly training, buying backup armor for his backup armor, hundreds of healing herbs, and treating even the smallest slime monster like a big bad boss. Those are some of the strange behaviors exhibited by our hero as he travels with the goddess to save the world. Studio White Fox, who has done some pretty good shit, including Steins Gate, ReZero, Akame ga Kill, director Sakoi Masayuki of Sword Art Online, Gun Gale Online, Needless, Sword Art No Method, and others. So, guys, Cautious Hero, what did you expect going into this show? And I'll start with Enzo.
This is a very simple answer for me. I am, in recent times, I always say this, isekai to me most of the time are a disappointment because it is such a great concept for writing, the idea of being sucked into a different world, but most of the time stories don't live up to that premise, right? They kind of go into weird routes that I don't necessarily like. I remember reading the synopsis for the show because it came across, and I know that we were going to review it way into the future. I thought it was an interesting idea to have a protagonist who's overly cautious, like the title presents. But again, by instinct, reaction, by just history of my anime watching career, I don't really give isekais benefit of the doubt most of the time, unless it's a sequel to one that I have already enjoyed in the past. So expectations were low. I won't say low. Expectations were very tempered. They were controlled. I didn't expect this to be amazing. I hoped that it would be good. And that's really all I did. The general, I hope it's good. Mm-hmm.
Let's go around the horn let's go to Mandi.
Alrighty. So, when Cautious Hero first came out, I read the synopsis and I thought, that sounds kind of funny. That sounds a little bit different than what we normally get, because I think a lot of isekai, as soon as they go into the world, are already overpowered. So I was like, this would be interesting to like because this guy is so cautious about everything. So I don't know, it's something different. And when I tried the first episode, I didn't really have any high expectations, and I watched it like the day it aired. I was just going through my list of things that are coming out to try out. My first impression of the first episode, I was like, this is really funny. It is a little bit different. This guy is just so like, he just slaughtered that slime. It was so dumb and over the top. I was like, that was really funny. So I had high expectations for the rest of the series after that first episode, because I don't know, the first one I thought was hilarious, and I was ready for the rest of it.
Mason?
Yeah, I'm with my other hosts. I had low to mixed expectations going in. The whole isekai game summoned to another world collective genre never really engages me. I really enjoyed White Fox's The Devil's a Part-Timer back in 2013.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like a reverse isekai, but it succeeded by having it like, it had a ton of heart, and it tackled a lot of the tropes in engaging ways while still retaining what fans like about it. So I was like, oh, if they can hit that same mark again, I might have hope. And I watched episode 1 of Cautious Hero back in 2019, and like Mandy, I thought it was an enjoyable time. It kind of struck me in a similar manner as like Bofuri, where I'm like, this is a fun concept. It's an enjoyable first episode, but I was, on the other hand, like cautious to see where the joke would go, because they sold 11 episodes, and I felt like they already did the joke. I was like, what's gonna come next?
Yeah.
I narrowly failed this show, and it was I can't remember what else was hanging around that season, but there was just a lot of good stuff, I think. And episode 3 I thought was hilarious. Like, I loved how Seiya was training with that god Cerseus, and he just kept beating up on him, and Cerseus was just getting more and more like scared, and it was just really like some of the comedy in the first 3 episodes really hit it on the head for me. Going back to Mandy's point, where he literally kills a slime and then drops like a nuke on it just to make sure it's dead. Just so much silly stuff, and I didn't expect it to be that kind of a comedy. So, but some of the comedy really landed pretty well for me in the first 3 episodes. So I was expecting more of that. You know, I wasn't expecting a show that was too serious. Thought it was going to be funny, and was hoping it would keep hitting the mark on the comedy, you know, going throughout, because comedy is so subjective, and you know, some person might laugh and everybody else doesn't, or, you know, whatever. So, but, you know, I'd say my expectations were kind of lukewarm, not unlike my co-hosts here. So, but I was pretty hopeful for it. So, now that being said, after having seen it, would you recommend that people watch this? And I'll go back to Enzo for the start off with this one.
I think, you know, it's interesting. Like, I'll say it this way. I think this anime is a solid watch for isekai fans, because it does take a different flair of the genre, because you have a protagonist that is just like really fucking OCD and crazy. So, like, about being prepared and stuff. So I think it's an interesting flair. So if you know someone likes isekai, definitely let them know about this one if they haven't watched it yet. I also would recommend this to people that are in general kind of into anime. I think it has that the character of Rista, like, she reminds me of a lot of old school characters too, with her I'm not sure how to explain, but my roommate who likes a lot of anime like Inuyasha and Sailor Moon or whatever, as I was watching it, she was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm watching this show called Cautious Hero," and she was like, "It sounds like you're watching an anime from back in like the Inuyasha times, because you had like you had like a main boy and like the co-leading character of the main girl.
She's got spunk.
Yeah, she got spunk. She's like nagging on him and everything. She thought I was watching like an Inuyasha thing or whatever. So I think I would recommend it to people in general, as a light casual watch. I would never recommend this to someone and tell them that they're gonna get an amazing story out of this thing. So yeah, I think it is a recommendable isekai.
Let's go same order back to Mandy.
Yeah, I'd say if you're a big fan of the isekai genre, you should probably try it out. Me personally, I don't know. Like, I thought it was really funny to start with, but like Mason said, the joke got not old, almost forgotten. And I think it was best when it was being silly. And then it went to a place where it's like, it got a little bit too serious, taking itself way too seriously towards the end. And I felt like what started out to be something really unique for isekai and felt more like it may possibly turn into more of a deconstruction of the series or the genre. It turned into more, oh, he's just another typical overpowered isekai protagonist. It just felt like every other one that we have seen. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't really like where it headed for myself personally, but I think if you're a fan of those shows and you just kind of like popping popcorn while watching these overpowered characters go through, somehow make it out shit they should have been killed in a long time ago. Yeah, I'd say you can definitely try this one out. I will say Restarte is my favorite character by far in this series, and just seeing her reactions alone is worth it.
She's yeah. So let's
Her
go back.
voice actress absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
Back to Mason.
Yeah, this show succeeded longer than I thought it would. I thought that for the first half of the show, every episode at least had one like chuckle-worthy moment where I was like, no, that was pretty good. You got me there. And it's a show that doesn't like go for a home run ball, doesn't aim for the fences, but like it makes solid contact and it like gets around the bases. Like it's a pretty safe show. A lot of the characters end up being a little more competent than frustrating, which you see in a lot of times in comedies, which is I think where I would give it an edge over Konosuba. But I think if you like that series, you'll find something to enjoy here. I would say definitely give episode 1 a watch, and you will both fully experience what the show has to offer, and if you enjoy it, it's going to keep on delivering that consistently. And if you don't jive with it, you're not going to miss out on anything besides a fun, enjoyable way to pass the time. So give episode 1 a shot. There's not going to be much of a risk if you don't dig it.
I really enjoyed this anime. I thought that it was funny. The comedy didn't always land as it went along. There were some jokes that got used maybe a couple too many times. Some of the jokes there were some jokes that were new towards the middle and the end that like hit me in the face, and I was like, whoa. Like I didn't see that coming, and we'll get to that stuff. It does get pretty serious towards the end. I didn't mind it so much. Like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a perfect ending probably, but it was okay. I really liked Restarte. I honestly don't even know how the hell to say her name. Restarte, she was super cute. I loved her. Just her. There's a if you've seen Excel Saga, there are those Poochus, those little like fluffy bear things, and they'll get like punched, and they'll get like this really serious like Yakuza face on them. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. She does that. She gets that. Like something will happen, and she'll just get like this. Like straight up, like 50-year-old Yakuza face on her, and it's just hilarious. Super cute. Seiya, he's a little dry, but he kind of grew on me a little bit as things went on. So honestly, if you're a fan of comedy, you probably would like this. I like the isekai genre, so this one struck with me pretty well. So if you like that genre, you're definitely gonna enjoy this. Probably not for everybody, but I think that you'll know immediately if it's not for you. So it doesn't change much going down the episode count. So if you watch it and you're like, oh, episode 1, this isn't funny, or, ooh, this is not my tone, then like just drop it because you won't like it. But I think that there's definitely a pretty significant audience for this one. So I probably would recommend it for a pretty substantial portion of the anime audience. So, all right, guys, we're going to jump into spoilers here. I'm going to put up the spoiler little logo on the Twitch. And we're going to jump into a little more spoilery talk.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god.
So, yeah. So I thought the comedy throughout the show hit pretty well. I mean, like, for example, the war god or whatever, the war master turning into a baby.
That was weird.
That got me a little bit.
Weird.
It was bizarre, but unexpected.
Did it? I was like, this is so random. What the fuck is happening?
It was random, but like when he's like, I peed myself or whatever, I was like, I just cracked up. I'm still cracking up. So it was random, but it was like, whoa, like what is going on? And then he was like, is it okay if I pee myself? And I was or whatever. And I was like, this is hilarious. It's just ridiculous. But then there's some comedy that doesn't hit as well. You know, there's only so many times when for Seiya, like telling Restarte he doesn't want to give her a kiss or whatever, and he kind of just shoves her face away. Like, you know, Eh,
Sometimes literally leaving her face in the dust when he flies away at Mach speed.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And
But
yeah,
go ahead.
some
Go
of the
ahead.
goddesses were pretty bizarre going down the line, but some of them kind of I thought were pretty funny. I enjoyed watching the bow girl kind of crawl away like a spider in that last episode. There were there were moments here and there where I thought the comedy was. I'll just say this: I don't like comedy anime that much. I don't think they're that funny. They're slapsticky. They're redundant. This one I thought was a little funnier than most.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like to use the word redundant there because it is one of those rare times where, because I find redundancy really like a turnoff in most stories, and then and in anime through that medium as well. So, but interestingly enough, let's say on average each episode had like 4 jokes, right? I think on the first half of the show, like at least 3 of the 4 jokes were hitting, and then on the latter half of the show, I don't think I laughed at too many of each joke in every episode. Not because I would say the qualities of the jokes were less or more, just because it was the same thing and just the same thing really over and over again, which is not super uncommon in anime. But given that, I think it's not a bright point of the show in the later half for me. But it is a strong one in the beginning, because in the beginning of the anime, just to touch on story here, the story is laid out to be pretty normal. This guy Seiya is summoned to the world of the S-class world that needs help. Yeah, there. Thank you. By Restarted. I call it Resta, but by Resta.
I have no idea.
It's literally restart because spoilers. She had to restart.
Oh my god. Yeah, that makes it easy.
There you go. Just call it restart.
Yeah. So Seiya was summoned by Restart to save a world. This is very, very, very isekai generic. So given that premise, I think the comedy plus Seiya's demeanor, of being an overly prepared hero to a ridiculous extent, is what was carrying the show at the beginning, because there was nothing really for story there. I don't know, like, what do you guys think? Because premise wise, it was nothing to write home about, but Seiya's demeanor to me, plus the slapstickiness of the first half, were what carried me through the first setup for the later half of the show.
I mean, yeah, the joke is the plot, and I know we'll speak more about characters later. And I felt like his cautious nature, when we got to later where that had to come into play, it usually wasn't clever or satisfying. It was kind of just weird ass pulls to justify how they survived. I wasn't we could see him being cautious and how that built up to him surviving. It was just kind of, oh, actually I planned for it, we're okay. And it wasn't very satisfying in that regard. Honestly, this show was a lot more dark than I was expecting. You had bloodied torture instruments with teeth and fingertips nearby. You had the reverse fireworks where they would drop humans out of the sky. There was arrows shot into eyes and mouths. You had suicide to summon creatures. If it wasn't for the comedy, this show would have been much more ooh, this is a little more serious than I was expecting.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's really weird. I really liked the joke in the beginning where he's so overly cautious that he overkills things. I thought that was kind of funny, the slime part. And I like the idea of him going around and collecting, buying up all the herbs when he just filling his inventory with multiple items, like how you would usually play an RPG. That's what I thought was really funny. He's I'm gonna buy just in case my sword breaks. I'm just gonna buy them all.
Yeah,
just filling his bag with them.
3 sets of armor because I need a spare and a spare for my spare.
Yeah.
Sure.
I thought that was really funny, and I thought that it was going to be more of a parody of isekai. When we started getting towards the end, it got a little bit too serious for me. I felt I don't know. It was a really weird switch where now it's like Mason said, a lot of really dark stuff started coming up. And one of the dragon girls, I think when I started losing it was when one of the dragon followers that he has, I think her name is Elulu, I think.
Elulu.
And she was going to be sacrificed in order to become his sword. She was going to die, and that was like her purpose for being there. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like the joke behind it is getting lost. It's becoming just kind of a, I don't know. I felt like it was taking itself too seriously, and I started to lose interest.
Yeah, I'm with you because, and it's funny you point out that part of the story, because I believe that's like episode 6, 7, which is
it's where things started to switch. Yeah,
because
for sure.
which is the literal half point of the show, right? Because as you guys were saying, or Mason, I forgot what Mason or Manny was saying, but it did seem around this time the joke was getting lost because the story does turn to a dramatical standpoint with the big bad becoming more apparent, with preparations being taken more seriously by everyone for this. And the reason I think it doesn't work from a mechanic standpoint is going just back to stakes again. Like, we were not set up for that kind of conflict.
Yeah, for sure.
We weren't set up. Like, we weren't set up for that. We weren't set up to have death be a very prevalent thing, to have like torture being a very prevalent thing, to have like and and just to go jumping to the end there, in the second last episode, the last episode where Ristar's past is shown to her, I was like, holy shit, like that is a lot.
Dark.
It's a lot. That's a lot to just throw at us in the last episode, the second to last episode.
Second to last, I believe.
Yeah, second to last. Thank you. Without having set us up for a ride like this. Like, we were, like, you know what I mean? Like, we weren't set up. Like, this is a roller coaster that went up and then went really fucking up, and I didn't sign up for the really fucking up part, you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mandy.
Yeah. No, I think that because it started off as like a parody with a very ridiculous concept that was, we knew it was going to be a comedy. I think because of that, towards the end, we never had any doubt that he was going to eventually win and everything was going to be fine. Like, right. I don't know, like, I don't feel like you were saying, like, the in order for there to have this very dark plot all of a sudden at the end, I felt like we didn't set up any stakes for that. We knew that it was never going to actually have any actual real danger to any of them.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like this anime moved along in a way that was basically driven by a desire to come up with different ways to make the hero cautious with that while trying to make it funny. So, and it didn't always lead the plot in the most sensible places. So, like, he couldn't just go back to the goddess area and train, in the spirit of time chamber or whatever the hell it was, over and over and over and over and over. Because, I mean, that's going to get really boring. So they settle for introducing all these different people that train him, and that's how they shuffle us along from spot to spot in the show. And it starts with Cerseus, and he's a point of comedy. Then they move it along to, who was it, like the Arrow Girl. The Arrow Girl, and she has her own sort of thing that makes her funny. And then there's the Valkyrie Girl, and then she
you forgot the Hikikomori lady.
Oh yeah, the Hikikomori Girl. And then there's the Valkyrie lady, who is always like just bizarre and always doing something wild. And I feel like for the most part, it kept the show light because none of these characters are really all that serious, and the training's not that serious either. But the plot is thin because what they're doing is kind of meaningless. And then ultimately at the end, they definitely just go whole ham with the ending, which turns the show completely on its head and gives it a tone that I think most people weren't really prepared for.
Right.
And
I just came for the funny faces of Restart. And
oh my gosh, she's so wonderful.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Do we want to touch on a little bit of her character or
let's just go to characters in general.
I think it was the first episode or the second episode where she walks into Seiya doing crunches on the floor without his shirt on. I think before that she six pack and just
six pack. Yeah.
I loved her so much. She was so funny. Like, I don't know. I love her facial expressions, and she's always so like upbeat and thinks this guy is definitely going to have a crush on me. He's such a dirtbag to her. I don't know. I thought she was so.
Hey, don't talk bad about my boy Seiya.
Oh my god, I knew this is like Mason.
Yes.
and Isekai.
So before moving on, Restart had the potential to be like gratingly annoying, and I think in a lot of other shows she would have been.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said earlier, her voice actress and the
Yeah.
faces they gave her
Yeah.
absolutely like max up the scale, and I was absolutely enthralled with her entire like mini arcs of trying to curry favor out of people, and she was the strongest point of the show by far.
Yeah. I supremely agree because and even in the English dub, I watched some of the episodes on dub because I had shit to do, but I needed to get through I think episode like I think like 4 and 5, but while doing something, um, and even in the English episode, just testament to the character's overall presence. I think they nailed it on the head because, like Mason said, I personally would also be annoyed by bratty characters in general, and she had potential to be a bratty character. And even though she was, it was charming. They did it. They did it in a charming way, like through the facial expressions, um, through her brilliant voice acting, and also through the contrast to Seiya's character. Right.
Mhm.
I think having that as the yin and yang of the show, because for as bratty and ridiculous her facial expressions were and her lines were him being that much more serious and that much more cautious, which gives you a natural balance without you even realizing is giving you a natural balance in the show. And I think that's why it worked for me because, for example, like Inuyasha, let's go to Inuyasha for as an example, right? Like the Kagome Inuyasha relationship is charming a lot of the time, but there are definitely times where I'm just like, holy shit, one of them is just way too annoying, and I think it's because they don't always balance each other super well. Um, Most of the time they do, but sometimes they don't, and that's when I think one of them is really annoying. In this show, the balance is pretty much the same the whole time, aside from the ending where they both kind of just like center. So I guess it is balanced anyway. But Mitch, do you have anything for restart? Because I was gonna mention Seiya stuff, but
I mean,
I won't.
I thought she was great, and she shows a lot of conviction towards the end of the show, and there's some plot twists kind of at the end that may or may not be predictable, but they weren't for me because I'm not great at foreseeing things. But I thought she showed, aside from just being silly and fun like the whole time, she shows a lot of conviction towards the end of the anime, and that kind of gives you another look at her from another angle. And I thought she succeeded at the end of the show. Like, I thought she carried the ending of the anime for sure.
Yeah.
And
I think so
I
too.
really enjoyed the ending. Like, I was like, wow, this is great. Like around episode 8, maybe 8, 9, I was like, whatever. It's fun. It's fun. It's fluffy, But then like, I not everybody's going to appreciate the tone change towards the end because it does get a lot more serious. But, by episode 12, I was like, shit, I'd watch the sequel to this. That was literally my thought. And it was definitely Restart who carried the ending of the show. She made a lot of sacrifices. She showed a lot of conviction and toughness, love, and just a lot of good emotions. And she became a good character for an entirely different reason, and was probably the best character in the show.
For people who are curious, Restart's voice actress is Aki Toyosaki, who plays Yui in K-On!
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if that voice sounds familiar, that's why.
So
Wow.
good.
I
So
did
good.
I did not relate the two, but to move to her counterpoint, Seiya, I thought his flair was brilliant in the first half of the show. I think it was refreshing to not get another fucking guy, like another isekai guy, like another one of them. It was funny to see him go extremely over prepared. I did see myself as someone like that too, where I'm just like, well, if I have the money to buy 3 sets of armor, like let me buy 3 sets of armor, let me buy every single antidote in the shop, let me get the sword, let me level up as much as I can before going out. And everything like that. And I think it was really refreshing to see someone who didn't even really want to go on the mission anyway from the get-go. He was just like, nah, I'm good. He was like, nah, I don't want to do this.
I
really.
need to stay here in the starting zone.
Literally, I need to stay here for a minute, okay?
He is the hero we need in this coronavirus isolation. Just working out at home, getting level 21 in his time chamber, just working out as innocent people are getting slaughtered in the streets. He's the exact like jerk hero that they needed. I love the scene when he like is bopping Rista on the head and she's like, hey, could you stop it? And he's like, okay, only because I don't want to get germs from you. I love his anti-cake agenda. his like snooty attitude, and like I do love him. He is a very uninteresting straight man, but like you said with the yin and yang, I think it worked well enough, and I like him. I think it's pronounced Isegai. It was the male lead of a show like that.
Oh, interesting. But yeah.
He was joking.
Oh wait, fuck you. God damn it. You got me.
Enzo bought it though. He's like, oh really?
Ooh,
Yeah,
I just
bought it.
Why are all the gods so perverted? Like, after watching last week, we had like an Ishtar, there was someone named Mash, there was a Berserker character, like the cake guy looked like he was straight out of Vinland Saga. I do want to start in hentai episodes referring it to as the Destruction Aura Investiture Ceremony. I can get behind that.
I loved it when we starts like, no, they're definitely having sex. And like, no, definitely didn't happen. For training.
I'm just straddling him naked.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know.
I've seen a couple books about these things.
By the way, that bed was levitating with chains. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but the bedposts were definitely levitating with chains. Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, in terms, wait, Manny, what you got for?
Oh no, when we were talking about Seiya, I was gonna say that another joke that I thought was really funny is when they're throwing holy water on everybody to see which one is the enemy, and then he starts throwing them on like the priests as well. And I just thought that was really funny because you think that like he knows that's the trope. That's the trope. That would be who is the enemy in there. Literally, I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah, if it's not the demons that are the bad guy, it's the church that summons the demons. He's like, no, I'm dumping water on everybody.
He's like, everybody. I'm not taking any chances. Yeah, moments like that I thought were really funny and worked really well.
Supremely agree.
That guy was a jerk, but he balanced well with Restart, like you guys said.
Yeah, Seiya was fine. His character comes into focus later when they kind of unveil the plot towards the end. Like, what was it, episode 11 or 12, 10 or 11 or 12 or whatever, and you kind of go, oh, now some things make sense with his character. And you know, up until then, you kind of wonder, like, why is he like this? And then there's a very good reason for it, and you kind of think, oh well, gee, because like there was some that flashback scene was grim, like, wow, dude. Like whoa,
it really was. It was not what I expected to see in the show.
Yeah, they went hard on that, and I was like, whoa, he's a little traumatized probably, so. Yeah. So you know, but he was a fine character, I think. Yeah. You know, he is what he is. I still think Restart is the crux of the show, but their sort of their black and white stark contrast of character makes them work.
Yeah, I think character-wise, my final point on characters is like. Supporting cast wise, I think the show lacks a lot of like characters that mean a lot or have significant interesting factors about them in the show that pulled me in. At least I think the only people I really cared about was Restart. I genuinely cared about Restart. I cared enough about Seiya. Didn't really care about many of the other gods, goddesses, the supporting characters, the villains. You never spend time with the big bad. You just don't, like, you know, he's just there to serve the purpose of being big bad.
Think we even saw him till the end, right?
Yeah. You literally see him when Seiya is fighting him. That's it. Right? So like there's no villain to like get you invested into that portion of the story. So it's a very shallow character cast with 2 shining stars in it. And that's not my favorite thing to see in a story. And that's my last point for characters.
I don't have much more to add on the characters. I think there's really only 2. So
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even really care about the dragon kids that were traveling around with them.
Same.
Like when they were like, "Oh, she might get sacrificed to be a sword." I don't know. It didn't hit me in an emotional place. I was like, it acted like this was a very emotional scene. I was like, I get that, but. I mean, it's not really hitting me though.
Yeah, I didn't care at all.
The art, the art and the animation, I thought were fine. I guess.
They're fine. Yeah.
They're fine. Like it's not special. It's not horror. It's not horrendous.
I love the OP though. The OP was great.
OP song was so good. TBH.
Yeah.
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 Mason, what you got for character / animation?
I mean, just the gods were so weird and sadistic, or not sadistic, masochistic, and it was kind of goofy. It was fine. I like how they all fell for Seiya, but not because of his personality. They all like agree, yeah, he's a jerk, but
He's hot.
he talks on to us, and he's got that 6-pack. What more do we need?
Let me get that
is there?
6-pack though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, the art was fine. It was barely there, but they lent it all on the character reaction faces, and it gave it a ton of personality. It felt very reminiscent of like what Trigger kind of does at times, where it's about how the characters feel more than how they move.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned, when Rissa's face gets like left behind or moments like that, it was just like brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought the music in the show was a bunch of like cheesy pop rock orchestral stuff. I didn't really dig it. I thought the opening was by far one of the most uninteresting things I've seen in a while.
I liked it a lot.
I
I thought it was
liked it.
fun.
The opening?
I the song. I think the
I
song.
thought it was great.
I like the
didn't-
song of
Oh.
the opening song.
I
I
didn't
liked
like
it when
it
they were
either.
dancing.
It was so bad. Well, the ending had like the CG dance sequence.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
Oh, I
had
skipped
that-
it every time.
It was
Sorry.
not well choreographed to have any
No.
like meme potential, which was unfortunate because
Yeah.
I thought it could have. So music was probably one of my weakest parts of the show. And like I said, I'm glad you guys kind of agree that it dropped off at episode 6, because I watched episodes 1 through 6 on one night, and I was like really digging it, and I was like, man, I'm feeling the show. It's surprising me. And then I watched the next 6 the next day, and I didn't know if it was just me like taking time to sleep on it, or just that's when it happened to go bad. But it was, I've never had such a disconnect between two halves of a show before. So
Yeah,
that's
with
kind of
you.
all I had.
Totally with you. Yeah, I'll give my final points here. I can do music and animation all at once. I think animation ain't nothing to write home about. It's very normal. It's nothing pristine. It's not even super clean most of the time. It's just like they did it and it looks like anime, like modern anime. So no plus points. If anything, a little minus points for lack of good choreograph for the fights and stuff. Yeah, music very very plain. Like it ain't like, I don't even remember what the music sounds like in the show. So, and that's something I'm always listening for. Aside for the OP, I do remember. I do like the song choice they picked. But yeah, I'm with Mason pretty hard. I also watched the first 7 in one sitting, and I watched the latter half in one also. Disconnect is a good word. I was not that I can't handle drama thrown at me, but I just don't think mechanically I was prepared for that. So I didn't care. Like, I didn't care really for the latter half of the story. But yeah, I think this is just it's a solid isekai, but isekais for me range lower on my things I like to watch. So, you know, in the context of Enzo, not the best show, but the better ones of the stuff I don't usually watch for me for this show. Mm-hmm.
You gonna score it?
Oh yeah, I'll fucking score it.
Fucking do it.
If everyone else is done, I didn't know if we were.
I'll score, bro. You know, my score here, like, I want to commend the show for taking on a different taste, a different flair. I want to commend it for reminding me that isekai can still be unique in its own ways, because really this genre 95% of the time fills me with disappointment, unfortunately. But I appreciate that this show, it didn't feel like a hassle to watch it. It didn't feel like a burden to watch it. And which is saying a lot, because I have shit to do even during the pandemic, unfortunately. So it's good. I think it's a good light watch even in the darker times. But so yeah, given everything, given all the standardness of it, giving the 2 good characters, I'm gonna give it a solid 3 plates of armor out of 5. Hey man, you got it.
Oh, go ahead.
I really like this anime. Isekai tends to be higher on my list of genres. I appreciated that it was short. I think other isekais like the Slime Show just drag on too far. Like they just go too long, and they don't have enough variability in what they're showing you to hold up for 26 episodes. And this anime doesn't really have a lot of variability either, but it's shorter, so it doesn't get tired as quickly as the other ones, I don't think. And Oddly enough, unlike what I think I'm hearing from the rest of you, I actually like the second half more than the first half. I like the first 3 episodes quite a lot. Episodes 4 through maybe 8 are meh, and then episodes 9 through 12 I thought were probably my favorite portion. And I really liked Restart a lot. Again, as I said, and and I would definitely watch season 2. It just hit me in a good spot. Maybe I was in a good mood when I watched the ending. I don't know, but I really enjoyed the show. I'm looking back through our old reviews, trying to figure out where to place this in like the last 10 or 11 reviews I've given. And I think I like this better than the average show. And my average score tends to be somewhere around like a 3.4 or so. So I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give this anime 4 salty cakes.
Ooh,
yeah, get those cakes out of here, my dude.
Not for sale.
I don't know. I liked it better when the show was more of a parody of isekai. I felt like, as we've said throughout this whole thing, that I did not like the second half nearly as much as the first half. I felt like it got a little bit too serious. And there were things in there where I was like, yeah, this could, in another show, this could have been really sincere. It could have been very dramatic, but due to the first half being what it wasn't able to reach me. I didn't get any feelings from those dramatic moments that they kind of felt. It felt shoehorned into me. It was shoehorned in for me. Like, it just felt like they were like, oh, well, we've used this joke so many times. What do we do now? Is how it felt to me. So, Restarte was my favorite part of the show. I felt like she made the show for me. And without her, like, I watched this weekly. I watched it as it was airing. And I felt like without her, I probably would have given up a lot sooner. But, yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think it's horrible. I didn't really care for it that much, though. And I felt like it was just fine. So I think I'd give it 2.5 herbs out of 5.
Yeah, I'm also gonna give it a 2.5 too. Actually,
You reviser.
I'm revising the shit out of my score. Yeah, it's a
Revise
2.5. I can't. I have to put more emphasis on the fact that I did not feel connected to the second whole half of the show. It's true. Yeah. Thank you.
2.5, half of the show.
The old lady booed you. She booed you.
2.5 out of 5 for me as well. Sorry, guys.
I was gonna start off like this ending point saying I feel like the 3 of us really aligned in kind of what we thought of the show, and it will be interesting to see how our scores just reflect our personalities of shows versus how we describe them. But I think you guys hit the nail on the head. The show ended up being better than I expected for longer than I expected, but more from the low expectations I had. If there was a sequel to this show, I'd probably be really hard pressed to think of a reason why I should watch it, but I wouldn't be opposed at the same time. It definitely hit its mark for half of the show, and the other half it didn't. And I feel like I'm not saying the show is a 2.5 out of 5, but I'm saying that the possibility exists. So I'll give it that.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You're confused.
Okay.
I was confused.
It was a quote from the show.
Oh, was it? I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
When he's like, "Oh, they could come back alive," and they're like, "Really?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not saying it could, but it could.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible."
Gotcha.
I
So
trust
2.5 out of 5.
I trust no one.
Our listener score ended up averaging 3.5 out of 5. So
Yeah.
Also positive.
Thank you so much for everybody who voted in that, because I completely forgot. I'm sorry, my schedule is all fucked up, and I completely forgot the poll, and I put it up last night at like 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. So I'm so thankful for everybody who voted for that.
Yeah,
we actually had
guys.
a lot of votes, and I was so surprised when I checked it. I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have like 2 people. No, we had a lot more. So thank you so much.
Much appreciated, everyone.
Much appreciated.
And the Crow visual in the chat says there's a second season coming, but I didn't hear anything about that. I looked for
I haven't
it.
heard anything either. I would be hard pressed to think the way the story ended. It would. I don't know where the fuck they would get a story out of the.
Well, it's easy.
I have no idea.
They're gonna go back to the first world where all his friends got
They got
killed.
summoned again.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but like, what? Like, come on. There's
Hey,
nothing.
come on.
Come on. There's nothing there. But yeah.
Oh yeah, it's confirmed. Apparently, they're
Yep.
saying in the chat.
Cool.
All right,
Cool.
more restart. She's gonna restart again.
Wow.
All right.
That sounded so sincere. Wow.
Wow. All right, guys. So that is our episode for today. We did quite a lot today. We brought back Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? We picked summer. We picked spring anime, and we reviewed Cautious Hero. So next week, I believe we're going to be reviewing Blade of the Immortal.
Woo!
So boys, I'm so excited for this. Woo! Strap in.
It's gonna be a ride.
I put Blade of the Immortal on the other night, and it was like midnight, and I was like, I don't think I'm really in. I don't really think I'm in the mood at midnight when I'm going to sleep to watch people get their limbs sliced off. I was like, let's put Ahino no Sora on. All right, guys. Yeah, that's definitely like a dinner time show, or after the gym type of show. Guys, thanks for listening, and thank you for watching on Twitch. We appreciate all of you. I hope you're all handling being cooped up in your houses as well as can be expected, and I hope everybody stays healthy. Again, if you want to follow us, you can do it over at our website. If you want to support us, it's aaapodcast.com/join. Hentai episodes, hobby addicts, after parties. We're going to give one away for free every week this month to keep you a little extra entertained. And, of course, social media. The Discord really is where you ought to be, probably, for everything. But we're also on Facebook and Twitter. Do you guys want to give out your Twitter handles?
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Enzo Badia, ENZOBADIA. I post a lot of thoughts on Twitter and Instagrams for cool things. Okay, thanks.
Twitter is at AAA_Mandi with an I. I talk about games and anime and mostly ferrets, so come have fun with me. Please talk to me. I need friends.
And I don't have a Twitter, but if you want to see what we've been watching and be friends on my anime list or any list, MAKLAX. Come see what we're watching.
Yeah.
I am at Pope Mitsugi, guys. We'll see you next week. We're going to do a hentai episode now. But until then, stay healthy. Peace out.
Stay safe, guys. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Love you.
Goodbye, bye-bye.
Goodbye.